Welcome to the AHGL Season Championship. I'm joined here by Patrick Scarborough.
Hello.
And how's it going today, Patrick?
It's going fine. I'm ready to talk about video games and all of the things that we will see inside of those video games.
I love the things inside the video games. It's
Yeah,
fun.
usually pretty good. Especially if we're watching League. That's my favorite of the esports to watch. But we are here for the After Hours Gaming League, which is a pretty cool group of folks that like to play for charity amongst all of the different corporations, kind of like you might imagine a softball league or something like that, but with things like StarCraft 2 instead, which I dig a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. They do cover a lot of different types of games, so it's not stuck to just, one specific genre. And the fact that they kind of do this for charity is extra cool.
Yeah.
Seeing the guys who kind of started this up and saying that if we're going to make a league and use different people from different software corporations, having those companies try to do something good focused on video games, fun, a good way to play together and meet other companies, but also to make someone's lives better.
Yeah. Well, so yeah. Speaking of the charities, we can talk about the teams as well. We do have Microsoft and Amazon Prime here, and they are playing for, I believe, Child's Play.
Yeah, the Child's Play and Charity Water.
I see.
I do know Child's Play is the Amazon Prime team. Their Child's Play is kind of dedicated to children in hospitals who kind of want to need some attention or really need some interaction. They kind of will use gamers, the gaming community, to sort of kind of help them through like kindness and generosity for children in hospitals. And then Microsoft. One, they have the Charity Water, and that charity is dedicated to find them a sustainable or a good solution to get them clean drinking water. So a lot of these nations, it's like their number one problem is not being able to find clean water every day. So that's a really good charity for both teams here.
Yeah, I see. So, talking a little bit more about the actual teams, this is it's not a direct one-to-one in terms of the players that are here, but this is a run back of last year's AHGL finals. It is, back to Microsoft and Amazon. I mean, Microsoft as well. I think I was hearing that they've been in 4 of the finals, so they're a fairly consistent top placing team, and a lot of that is thanks to some of their players like Yururu, who is just like top rated player in the team, really high level guy. But then over on Amazon, they have kind of really stocked up on some new talent themselves, especially coming out with some master players to be able to rival the high elos that exist onto Microsoft as well.
Do you think that the new high players on the Amazon team are going to be able to close that gap? I know that last year was a little bit of a struggle when they came to the finals.
Yeah, well, so specifically, and we can go through and we can talk about the teams at, one by one here, but starting off with Microsoft, actually, we can get to we have Blues Forte, Mr. Harry Bael. I am going to assume that's how it's said. He is actually the only person that was not part of the AHGL finals last time. So clearly they were like, our AD carry, he needs to go. Let's replace him with this guy. He plays
But everyone else is solid.
Yeah. He plays very aggressively. And Silent J is a guy who played a lot of Vel'Koz in the past, plays a lot of Bard now, a lot of things that can be considered a little weird, a little out there, but they play very much for the lane. Look out for this guy to be playing something like Callista, or Jinx, something that's very, very dangerous and very explosive to come out of that lane.
You have see here, Broseph?
Yeah, Broseph 4. There were 3 Brosefs before him.
He's the 4th Broseph, who I guess he's in charge of the team's pick and banning phase, and they're trying to keep. I guess he's going to try to keep the team in track on for what the latest trends are in Korea or different metas around the world, because there's always new playstyles coming out. So he's going to be in charge of just trying to make sure the team makeup and what they come in to this finals with against Amazon is going to be like a good team matchup. And he wishes that Anivia would come back to the meta. I also wish this. I'm a huge Anivia player. Loved her. Very, very safe mid, but it's kind of hard to play her right now with all these assassins that can just gap close instantly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like he can change up his style, can play some poke mages, can play some all-in sort of assassin types. So certainly he is going to be bringing a lot to that mid lane. And then we get to Ibni Ali Hussein. He's the team captain and a well-known Jax player. This is you do not want to give this guy Jax. We actually played against him in the kind of the show match, the Riot show match after last year's AHGL finals, and we did give him Jax, and it was a massive headache. Actually has a Jax only diamond account. I didn't think someone could love that character as much, but we seem to have found it. So really consistent player, really does what his team needs, is kind of like one of the rocks that this team is built on, and really looking for teleport plays and team fights kind of as he goes through.
So if not banned, probably picked.
Oh yeah. He will pick Jax into anything, any matchup at all.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about this next player? We got.
No, you
know him a
talk
little.
about him. Well, yeah, I know what his dead body looks like under his tower. That's about the only thing. That's Silent J.
So Silent J, Sanjeev Reddy, played for Microsoft One. He also he goes for like outplays in lane. He's just looking for a really good like brawl or duel and something to kind of set his game in motion. But he's usually playing support. So I don't know if he's gonna be playing support today. He's gonna be playing Morgana, Janna, Bard, one of those types of champions. Even maybe a Teemo support, which would be funny. But with Silent J, he's really just going to be one of those players who's patiently waiting for an opportunity for you to like misclick and then capitalize.
Yeah, and then
but what he likes when he tries to capitalize and doesn't go well.
Yeah, well, it's a very high risk player. Plays a lot of unorthodox things, and usually if you're not ready for something like that, can kind of wreck you. Then that brings us to Joseph Chang, Yururu, highest ranked member of the team. Last season was it's kind of throughout the years known for being a really good Rammus player, but also has the Rengar, plays the Sejuani. He plays League of Legends. He knows what the good champions
He plays League.
Yeah. Used to play for UBC's collegiate team, which is actually like a pretty big deal in the collegiate scene. And enjoys finding AD carries out in the wild and killing them by himself. So whether you're on Rammus or Rengar or anything, you can kind of get that one done for you. Then switching gears to talk about their opponents, the Amazonians, the Amazon Primes. We have Mike Kobit, Crap Pile. He's telling me it's called Crapile.
Right, of course.
Yeah, so Crapile. I will totally believe that. Coming back to the finals after shifting from the jungle to the top lane, likes to keep up his jungle mechanics though. Was the jungler for his second place Amazon Rumble team last time, and hates Soraka.
Just hates Soraka.
Make sure that's nothing
known.
Really about his gameplay, but something he would like people at home to know.
Just make sure the world knows he hates Soraka. Got it.
Yeah, Microsoft is like BRB picking Soraka.
We also have Odie Yang, which is Dieu de Soul. Prefers more carry-oriented roles like jungler Vi. Also plays tank junglers for the team. So he kind of likes to be a carry jungle, but he is willing to make that sacrifice just to be a meat wall for the team as they need it. He also played a lot with his college team at Georgia Tech last year. So he's really looking forward to getting playing with Amazon this year.
Yeah. Then we have AHGL. I'm just gonna try to say his name, and he's gonna yell at me in chat. Hui Gao, another third-year Amazon veteran. Played AD carry in season 3, played support in season 4. Now he's back to AD carry. Apparently, support did not work out well for them. Learned how to play bottom lane from his season 4 captain. Says that AHGL is to Bowley as Doublelift is to Chowster. learned each champion skill set by playing them exclusively during their free weeks to build up the IP to purchase them. So this guy's a real grinder. Has played the video games quite a lot.
Yeah, we actually have a lot of pretty good talent coming onto Amazon this year. We have Jacob Crouch, who's I love llamas 12 because the other 11th were taken, or something to do with the claim to fame that he was ranked 12th in North America during season 2.
Well, it could be also that he loves 12 llamas.
Oh, it could be all 12 llamas.
Yeah, right,
Roughly
that's the thing.
1 dozen llamas is required. And he abused AP Evelyn mid, so I don't know if rank 12 is super impressive just because of how strong that was in season 2.
I like how when asked to list his achievements, he was like, "Oh, I jumped on the AP Evelyn bandwagon." It's like, oh,
yeah,
good.
And I just rode that straight to the top.
No. Definitely a very good player. Loves to play assassins. So we'll see if he ends up matching up well with Broseph in the mid lane, and see if he can really keep up with what's going to be happening.
LeBlanc more than likely, maybe Zed, something like that.
Yeah. Seems to be a contested pick between them, and then Gordon Goats. I've also noticed.
That's the only way I could say it.
Yeah, I was like, it's wrong. The names are wrong. I'm so sorry. Has played as a sub before in the last couple seasons. Actually, he prefers to play making aggressive supports and likes to get into fights. So you have to imagine this is going to be a big lane for them to square off with Silent J, who also is known to play the unorthodox champions that like to make the fights happen. Is generally, though, favored for his support and utilities, so things like Morgana, Thresh, right? Like contextual, situational things where he can kind of make plays and optimize. That is what he is going to be looking for.
Yeah, we also have another Morgana player on the Microsoft team, so that may be a contested support pick. Someone's going to try to pick that up early. And unfortunately, if he has a Leona backup, that's not going to go great against Morgana.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's got a couple other in his pool, like Thresh and Lulu or someone a little bit stronger. Sure. So we got LCS is kind of going on today. We have a couple other things going on. The AHGL has been running for a full year now, second time coming around. What do we think we're going to see today as opposed to last year, seeing that Amazon's got some new talent? Maybe do you think that their new talent's going to help them in the lane matchup?
Well, we have Mr. Gordon Goats. I only want to call you Gordon Goats now. I apologize. But we have the team captains coming into Skype for a quick interview right now, so I can ask him, Gordon, are you here?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, do you think that your team's new talent is going to sway the matchup that has gone in Microsoft's way last year?
Well, I think we've been pretty even, over the course of the years so far, and it's anyone's match. But I think this year we have a really strong lineup, and we've been working pretty hard and practicing and whatnot, and I think, we have it's our turn.
Oh, is there any specific aspect your team has been practicing or working on, trying to focus on for today's match?
Well, oh yeah, are you in here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got him. He's hiding.
Please feel free to tell us.
Yeah.
Everything.
I guess you'll have to find out.
He doesn't have to wait and see the secret strategy.
So we have let me intentionally pronounce your name as terribly as possible. Ibni.
Oh my God.
at the request of your teammates. How are you guys feeling coming into this one? Right, you won the last one, but it seems like just looking at some of the new players on Amazon Prime, right? If we're just going by their ratings, they've kind of beefed it up a little bit. Like, do you think this is going to be just a walk in the park? Do you think you're going to have to struggle to get it? What's it going to happen?
I think you'll see a good set of games, and hopefully we can pull out a win.
All right, well. Man, you guys don't want to say shit about each other at all. You're like, I respect my competitors and the practice my team has put in. I'm like, well, fine, good, acceptable.
So nothing about what you've discovered from scouting the enemy team. None of the above. Strategies, targeted bans. This is all good information.
All I want to say is please don't ban Jax.
I'm gonna say,
ban Jax.
I'll give you the information. That guy plays Jax. Okay. Anyways,
we can ban Jax thrice, right?
Yeah. You actually can. It will remove him from the game after that. All right. Anyways, we're gonna say goodbye to you guys. Probably because we don't like you, but maybe also because it's getting time to start the video game. So
All
Yeah,
right.
it's time.
Thanks.
Go
Thanks,
into war
guys.
mode. Thanks for coming by, guys.
yeah.
Right.
All right.
All right. So it seems like they have been working on a strategy and just didn't quite want to share it with the enemy team.
How rare!
Crazy to think that.
I've never heard of someone not wanting to
Yeah.
give their strat over.
Yeah. But I guess it was very obvious that Jax is going to be a targeted ban because, as you stated from last year, not banning Jax seemed to be a
Dog,
pain.
even he has stated he will not stop talking about that character. I'm here in
Loves it.
the in-game chat with them right now, and it's just nothing but please don't ban Jax, please don't ban Jax, please
There's
don't
no
ban.
bit.
Yeah.
All right, so
All right.
everyone's
Well,
getting in the lobby.
yeah, we are almost ready to go. Sneaky, you're actually the only person not in the lobby.
And I'm trying to join right now, actually.
Wow. We're here with Karapile and Dio. He was actually hoping we would say his name is Dio Diesel. So that's if he makes a good play, it turns into Dio Diesel. But if he's just being a regular guy, it's Dio de Sol. That's how that's gonna work. I mean, personally, I have to say, I watched the games last year. I was there at the Red Bull headquarters. We're watching the AHGL, and Amazon, they put up a good fight in the first game, and then they really kind of faded away the second one. You're kind of snowballed the entire game to hell, and so I'm pretty excited to see what they're able to pull out here because their team looks stronger. They seem more confident. They seem more invested. They've actually played a lot of the game more this time around. Last time they were a little bit more lax on just kind of like, yeah, we're playing some solo queue. So it shouldn't be as one-sided until we get to the Riot match, and then whoever is going to get stomped.
When you were shoutcasting the game last year and you were trying to kind of describe how the teams were turning about halfway through, what would you say that you saw as the big issue at the end of the games last year? You were seeing Microsoft was pulling ahead. What was happening?
Yeah. Well, so when it was that Microsoft was pulling ahead, they were really doing it off the back of Yururu. It really seemed like almost everyone had kind of a counter matchup or someone that could kind of handle them in the laning phase. But when it came to their jungler, they just didn't really have him. He just kind of went off. He started doing whatever he wanted. He ended up playing, I believe it was Vi one game, and just built damage and was assassinating people, really playing the game he wants to play. But this time, Dio de Sol or Dio Diesel, whichever one decides to turn up in this series, master ranked solo queue jungler, right? Clearly has had a lot of impact at his team success, getting them this far again. So if he can step up and really kind of be the guy to keep Yururu in check, they could come back.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be probably their focus today is just keep him in check starting off from the match and don't let him get any of his favorite picks. Yeah, Master Tier, I thought that was really interesting when that got introduced. I wasn't sure how much of a difference it would be, but it is a significant difference in skill, it seems. Oh, and the match is underway. We have the pick ban phase starting off, and first ban's coming out. LeBlanc, Maokai.
Still looking for that Jax ban. Maybe it's not gonna happen. I mean, the Bard ban away from Silent J, they really do not want to deal with it. It's possible that all this talk of the Jax ban, they just don't even get rid of it. Maybe they're saying maybe they're saying maybe they're saying that like maybe Ibne won't actually pick it, or maybe they're saying they're going for a similar game as like, if we play
we can handle it.
certain tanks or certain top laners that can really crush it down in a team composition, we'll kind of let him have whatever he wants so we can get what we want, right? As well as if their top laner actually plays Jax, you're forcing them to first pick a Jax, which is in terms of placing
if you know someone
stock,
who has to play it and they can counter it really hard.
Well, yeah, I mean it's just saying like Amazon's going to be able to get 2 picks if they actually do cover the Jax. So the Jax does go through.
No Jax ban.
And now we are faced with that situation. Oh, but they snap up Kaista. instead.
Yeah, I'm actually she's one of the worst ADCs to play against as a jungler. It's my bane of my existence. As soon
Well,
as she gets enough attack speed, you can just never catch her.
well, Dia de Sol was listening when I told him about how Yururu went crazy on Vi, and he has decided to lock that in himself. Jax is
Very
still
good
on the
idea.
table. I'm gonna keep talking about it, even if he doesn't go for it, because I want him to go for it. I want to
I
see the
just want
Jax.
it so bad.
I'm just saying, Homeboy has a Jax only account. Like, it's not like he likes the character,
But
right?
I
It's
don't know
like
if
he's
Jax is the
played.
same this year that he was a year ago or 2 years ago, for that matter. He was
No,
consistently very, very strong for a
but
long time.
but in Ibne's heart, he's the same. All
Yes,
right.
but
Well,
he's just this is
Rumble
my baby.
Rumble being picked up probably means that's not going to be the Jax that I
Yeah,
was looking out for. So
the
Jungle,
Rumble.
Gragas, and Callista and Rumble. This is a very, very strong team. And while I do like Morgana and Vi, I really am looking to see some power picks out of these next two to hope. Ooh,
Yeah,
Lucian lock in super fast. Lucian actually, for an 80 carry, does pretty well in the tank meta. He has low range, but he's able to kind of reset his dashes. Plays really well with Blade of the Ruin King.
yeah.
Hovering over the Teemo support.
That's a good range for like a good distance poke too. If you need to pop down his ulti in a team fight, he can do that from a safe distance away, and that's a
Yeah,
lot of AOE having Gragas and Rumble and so
yeah.
much going to be coming out at the same time.
The Teemo may not be locked in, but this is not as much of a troll hover as people might expect.
The Teemo support.
Silent J is rank 5 with Teemo, gold bordered. Teemo is his most played support in solo queue. So he clearly believes that there's some power to this. Looks like Azir
There's
is
something
going to
about
be.
maxing blind and exhaust.
Yeah. So I would expect the Teemo to swap over to a different support. I think this is zero go through.
There
Yeah,
it is, Jana.
there it
Yeah.
ends up going.
Oh, she's so
Silent
funny.
J was not heroic. Did not want to go for it. But honestly, I mean, with these lock-ins, this is a pretty strong composition. I think the one thing that they're going to be looking for is they're very reliant on kind of getting
And
the Azir sec or the Gragas barrel to start the fight. As,
yeah, there isn't
as
anyone to necessarily jump in themselves and brawl, but there's a lot of engage nonetheless with the Azir, Rumble, Gragas can just kind of like throw in everything at the same time. And if Gragas times his barrel properly, they will actually be able to just like pick everybody off. They're not looking for a long-term brawl and by any means.
right. Typically, though, teams like this can suffer against Black Shield, right? Because you're saying like,
Yeah,
oh, how are we going to engage?
that's a
Well,
good point.
we gotta get this right, and we gotta get that right. We gotta do all these things have to go well for us, and Black Shield can kind of ruin any one of those plans. Similarly,
Ooh.
Dr. Mundo is actually quite potent against double AP. So, and especially with this Urgot lock-in, I'm actually going to give the late game to Amazon Prime. I think Callista's a threat and Rumble's a threat. Like there are a lot of threats on the
Yeah.
side of Microsoft here. But if the games play out in a standard fashion, I think that Amazon Prime can make a larger dent in this late game.
Yeah, we're gonna see this Urgot mid against Azir, I believe. That's gonna be a really interesting matchup because even though they both have really good poke, if Urgot can get a little bit of a lead, he's gonna be extremely, extremely strong and like able to just roam. So I'm wondering if mid lane is gonna be the pinnacle issue here because I imagine top lane is gonna be semi-boring. Just gonna be a little bit of a slow farm fest until about mid game.
All right, so I am getting some word right now that so we were talking about how the Teemo was a real pick, and that was the
Yeah.
thing that he was interested in. They actually were intending to pick it, and Yururu was teasing Silent J
Oh no.
by switching it to Janna and couldn't spell Teemo in time to swap it back. So if Microsoft happens to lose this game, we just in our
A lot of
minds
eyes.
as we play
which
this
one it
game
is.
need to imagine, but what if there was a Teemo?
If
What
only there were a Teemo in this situation, they would have been fine. Seeing
Yeah.
how there was no Teemo.
Yeah. Microsoft, this is a similar kind of game plan as they had in their last year. Ibne is a very potent top laner, right? Really high up on the strategic play and the map movements with things like teleport. And what they are really needing is to get vision on the map and do a lot of flanking, right? this is a team, like you were talking about, their engage potential is very contextual based on the positioning of Amazon Prime. But if you're near something like a dragon, or you're kind of caught in your jungle and Rumble and Equalizer are behind you, and you have
Oh,
Gragas
right.
and Janna speeding towards you, you can
These
cut
trap
them off in these chokes.
situations.
Yeah. They're kind of looking for traps to set them up, because if you go into a straight lane poking situation, right, it's like Rumble isn't great at taking towers. Gragas isn't great at getting people off towers. Callista is
Mundo can face tank forever, and Vi if you
right.
get too close.
Right. Look, yeah. So really, I'm going to be looking for Vi and Urgot ult to kind of combo with bindings a little bit here to say, like, we can try to pick off Azir or Callista, because if you are able to get directly on top of them or swap them into the middle of your team, say, and get them away from the protective winds of Silent J, that person going down can really pick apart the entire team comp. Though it's worth noting that played optimally, Microsoft's has a lot of potential.
Yeah, these Morgana picks from the binding, I think, are going to really decide the way these team fights are going to go. If she can land an early binding on someone, that person's going to get blown up, because there isn't really a tank or someone who can just, jump and throw their body in front of it like they do on Amazon. Amazon, as soon as somebody gets picked, it's just going to be a wombo combo till they're dead. So if they don't land any of the initiates, though, it's going to be really hard because of Morgana getting countered by pretty much Janna. She's going to try to be jumping in there, and Janna can always, as long as she's not hitting the black shield, just shove her right back out and negate her ulti. So
yeah,
I'm wondering how that pick is going to go the first time that binding hits in a team fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm looking over kind of the list of characters that everyone really enjoys on Amazon, and it looks like kind of everyone got something within their wheelhouse, right? Everyone feels pretty comfortable on these champions, especially like Lucian, Vi, Morgana, are all big kind of focal points for Amazon. So yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely coming in as the underdogs, right? Less so from last year, but I mean, they're against the reigning champions and people who have made finals almost every time.
Right. So consistently good, consistently shut out most of the teams. Looking at, Microsoft not losing, any matches, and Amazon losing one this season. Both teams have been playing fairly solid, but there's only one undefeated team.
Yeah.
So far. So we'll see if that matters. Could be just the matchup. There's I do love seeing, after shoutcasting a couple different matches, the higher the tier goes, the more synergy you see the teams leaving the basin. So
yeah.
They is one giant orb.
So I guess you're saying that Amazon is going to be the winners here, because you see Microsoft has already begun to spread out. They are going to be,
this is going to be a rough situation. Very good flash, but had to still burn flash right off the bat.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, Ibne losing his flash right at the very beginning. I was going to say Callista took her Sentinel level 1 to try and scout the blue buff, but already not only getting the flash, but 3 wards over by blue, and now they are running immediately over to try and counter or take away some of the vision or anything that may be setting up in their blue side.
Well, they have a strong enough level 1 that, it's not really going to be safe for them to kind of like try to defend that. They're just going to kind of just divert to the next buff. But if you're warding up the enemy blue really well, you could just go straight from your blue to theirs and try to catch them in the jungle.
Yeah,
there's so much vision right now.
Bindings and cleavers are, pretty hard to fight in your level 1. But there's something that's also really important to think about is when you're fighting an Urgot level 1, his passive actually comes into play. It's not something that you think about a lot, but he can just auto attack people, make sure you're not doing a bunch of damage, and if you're at a level when,
every hit counts that
much. Right, like you're 10 and 20 damage, you're kind of mattering a lot to make sure who's going to get first blood or not. It's not something that you want to challenge. So bottom lanes both helping their junglers. Neither of them are going to take the Krugs or the Gromps for the experience. Lanes kind of matching up how we might expect. And so I want to get your opinion, Sneaky. Which of these is the lane that you think is going to have the most action in it, or something that we should probably pay the most attention to?
I'm thinking that it's going to be the bot lane. One of the funny things about this is that Morgana is going to be playing extra aggressive on these bindings, just because she doesn't have a tanky jungler kind of push her back like you normally would, so she can be auto-attacking pretty regularly. Lucian's poke's already really, really good, and I'm wondering that because they have a Janna, not like a Teemo, not really sure what his matchup's going to be, they can't brawl the same way they might have been planning to. It's like Callista getting a lot of her stacks in. She's not going to be able to make it quite so easy.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if they stay at the tower, might be okay.
Ibn actually playing pretty aggressive in this top lane. Hit level 2 early, ran through the minions to start throwing down the Electro Harpoons. This is a lane where, Binding lands onto
That
Janna.
binding was really good.
Gonna take a little bit of damage, but the Eye of the Storm is gonna soak that up. But when you are playing Rumble into something like Mundo, you have to, on Rumble, be constantly aggressive, right? And that's something that can backfire as well, right? Mundo known for building Spirit Visage to make his healing numbers even more insane, and so if you're not trying to stay ahead of the regeneration curve, as it were. Oh, this
here comes that binding
kill.
bot lane. Callista going down, exhausted. Looks like Lucian's just backing out. Janna did a good job of kind of zoning him out there a little bit. Callista's going to be a little bit low. We did see junglers are moving up towards the top lane, so no one's going to come in to kind of close us out.
Yeah, and I want to call it specifically why that was a great play for them here in the bottom lane. Callista's E was Rend was on cooldown, and they had started to harass Janna, and the moment Janna's shield went on herself, they swapped focus. And so while now it's the same Janna trading that is going to be able to take them down, in a vacuum, trading support health. Whoa, wow.
That attack!
Oh my God, Yuru is gonna see if he can't get one more. And Lucian lives
unbelievably
with
close.
15 health. They both, you could see it in their faces. They wanted to flash for that. Really good play. I mean, the zoning from Janna is still pretty real, and he's gonna send him all the way back to the tier 2.
Don't let him be. Do not let him gain any benefit from his back. Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Setting him all the way back there. And so, you know, I was just
that auto attack hit for a lot more than even I expected. I saw Janna kind of just shield.
It was also the Callista passive, right? When you and your Oathsworn attack the same target within a short period of time, it will do a large amount of bonus damage. And so that, plus a couple spears in from Callista's Rend, meant that, you know,
it was two Rens. I think it was 2 Rens along with a buffed Janna auto attack, and you had the passive.
Especially this level, Janna's auto attacks go in. Like, it's really, really difficult to out trade a Janna, which is why I was excited for them to have done it in the early stages of the lane. But it looks like they got a little too excited from that. Yeah,
they landed 2 or 3 bindings, which is kind of a if you're doing it ahead of the shield, it's really exciting, and you want to get aggressive. And what I'm noticing now is going to be funny is that Mundo being so passive in the top lane at the beginning of the game, and Rumble is really, trying to be aggressive but not get caught out by Vi. He's now backing up to his tower. Mundo's sustain is getting high enough that, Rumble can't really, bring him down as quickly. And Urgot's also pushing in the mid lane. So the pressure in all the lanes has kind of shifted. And we're going to see Gragas going to be able to capitalize on some of these, overextensions, hopefully.
Speaking about Gragas capitalizing on overextension, he shows up to the mid lane, is 1 level ahead of Dio de Sol, although Dio is probably not far from that level 5 himself. Gonna check out the crab, just kind of hanging out here in the river. seeing
I think he's taking out Scuttle right now.
Yururu is now down in the bottom. Oh, and a fight has just gone down. They do not have enough summoners, although Flash is up for both of them. All right.
Both flashes down.
Both flashes down. Misses the body slam to possibly get even a little bit more damage. But this Callista is absolutely relentless in how she's going to continue to try and cut down the people in the bot lane. Yeah, I was just going to make a point that Yururu is actually playing a little bit more of a different role. He's still kind of a menace, and he's still going to be quite big, and we'll see if his playstyle fits with his Gragas, but it's going to be less of the assassination plays, right? More just really smart pathing, right? Shows up mid lane, a lot of junglers would say, oh no, they saw me, they know where I am in the map, let me return. It's like, no, I'm going to go immediately bottom lane, and I'm going to see if I can't kind of stay up in tempo with the game.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people always kind of forget about is not ganking isn't always about getting the kill. Sometimes it's just burning a CD or creating that pressure, just making them back up and have to use a cooldown or two.
Yeah, and here he is again, standing on a ward right now, but it doesn't matter. They don't even want to like send a binding or mana cost his way. They just want him to leave.
Could you just not be here? Anything but being right here would be great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
well,
think
definitely.
he's just looping back and around. He wants that bot lane.
Well, I mean, he blew both their flashes. Heal and exhaust are up for them now, but we see
Urgot's
starting to get
getting
some
really
chunks.
aggressive mid. Oh, that binding is gonna hit. See the pool go down. That shield is absorbing almost all of the damage.
Right, yeah. For someone that did not intend on playing Janna, he's not doing too bad a
Too
job
bad.
himself. Seems to have, checking out his set right now, it seems to look like he has a lot of ability power. So he may have said, well, I'm playing Janna, I'll default to getting as much AP as I can, which is, you know, really giving him a lot of dominance, especially with the shield strength right now early on.
Yeah, there's a lot of shielding going on. I see that the mid lane's kind of just exchanging back and forth. Looks like the Vi's going to come in the bot lane. Janna cancels out the first little punch, and TP going to the bot. Rumble's coming in, but they're not going to be able to catch anyone, doesn't look like.
All right.
Vi is just backing up into the jungle. Backs out. It'd be a great time to try the dragon if you can
Yeah,
keep
it looks
them
like
low.
they're
Mid
chasing
lane
a
is
little
low.
bit, chasing a little bit deeper here, trying to get some deep vision. A little bit of a questionable teleport. It's never the worst when you end up, you know, being like, oh, I teleported down if he didn't get a kill, but I'm going to get a dragon off of this. But in a majority of situations, your team could have just gotten the dragon without you.
And you didn't need to leave, right?
And you could have teleported instead. Now Mundo is going to continue crushing down this CS advantage. If you can't really get some jungler interaction in that top lane, you know, as I was saying,
Yeah.
Mundo's very good against sustained magic damage, and especially
It's a bell
with,
curve that if his regen equals more than your damage at any point in time,
yeah,
you're
he's
screwed.
just going to start beating you to death with his cleavers, and it's going to get really tough for you to keep up. So now we see Ruru setting up like he is going to go here for a dive into this bot lane. If I were the Amazon bot lane, I would try to hightail it out of there, because one equalizer is going to make it
and that's done.
bad news. So this is what, you know, Ibne has decided to do. He says, well, the teleport didn't work out. We didn't get the kill. They were perhaps hoping that Vi was going to commit with the assault and battery.
Right.
Gotta
Securing
force
that
it.
dragon and taking a tower.
Yeah.
Even
So,
if you lose your top tower, that's good.
yeah, makes the call to stick around and get the tower, which is actually what kind of pushes this over into Worth territory. Mundo still going to be scary, but, you know, similar to characters like Nasus or some of these like late game tanky beasts, if you can just collect enough advantages around them, so to speak, and kind of make a lot of their teammates weak, then it doesn't necessarily
can't do
matter
as
how
much.
strong they become individually. Because even though in a traditional team setting they would be really hard to take down, if they're kind of your only target or your only raid boss, not
Yeah,
as
just a
big
CC
deal.
train can negate that situation.
Yeah. Gold
Basically.
though still relatively even, and that's owed a lot to Llamas here in the mid lane with a massive CS lead on top of Mundo's as well.
Yeah, we're seeing everyone's fairly close. Callista looks like she is, you know, up in the lead right next to Urgot for gold so far. Urgot's just been bullying the Azir in the lane, but as we kind of know, Azir's a little weaker in the beginning game, and, you know, Urgot's a little stronger, and then end game it kind of flip-flops where Azir becomes this monster who can just poke it, you know.
Yeah. Vi
incredible
is
range.
making a visit to Krapile's lane. Doesn't want to go over there where he knows the ward may be. Decides he's kind of going back and forth on this one here. If he does the Krugs, he'll hit level 7.
Ibne's been doing a great job at just,
Oh,
you know,
but
even
now-
though Mundo's been farming.
Well,
These
now-
invades to the enemy jungle.
Yeah. Now he doesn't know if he wants to try and go for a gank at all. Burns the flash, but if he goes for anything further, the entire team is going to be there to back him up. Still, getting a flash off of Rumble in an area that is pretty heavily warded, something that he is going to be okay with going for.
That top tower is definitely going to go down. So we're going to see 4 people mid. They need to secure this bot tower. And we're also seeing Callista sort of chasing down Lucian out of the lane, trying to keep that farm going. Being able to account for everyone with these wards
Oh,
in the rest
God.
of the map
This is gonna be a lot
allows
of damage.
Callista to stay extremely aggressive on that Lucian.
Yeah, top tower does go down. Lucian lost over half of his life to what we will call a trade in air quotes, trade with Kalista. Not
Right.
something he was excited about. Yoruru now, seeing if he can't make a
Gragas,
dive.
yeah.
He has passed over a ward now, but if you are on the side of Amazon Prime, your jungle is not a very safe place to be right now.
Oh, here comes
Everyone
Silent J. Throws out the slow, but just missing the tornado. If that knockup might have landed, could have been the end of it for Shin.
Kalista missing the Q, which would have done some good damage, tossed another spear into his body. But now almost everyone is here.
We have this
is
Mundo
like
just pounding away at bot lane. Oh, here comes the ultimate coming out. Rumble's coming out.
Misses everyone. Ibne just kind of dies. Team.
Yeah.
Flag.
I guess the team's just sort of like, well, that did not work out. Let's head mid. See if we can turn around. If they can get behind this Urgot, I'm not sure he knows how many people are behind him. He now knows. Backing up.
Yeah,
just wants to get a little poke in there.
Yeah, so I tease him, but this actually speaks to a big issue in the team comp. Mundo actually taking a second tower.
I was about to say, Mundo has not left this top lane.
Yeah, so like I said, I was teasing, but this speaks to a big issue with their team comp that I was pointing out in Champion Select. That's how they start fights, right? Is a lot of these ultimates and a lot of these abilities that are sometimes often used as follow-up to a primary engage are now being forced to say, like, this is how we're gonna start the fight. And so if
I'm gonna start off with my equalizer.
And so it did do a good job of trapping Lucian in, but Black Shield allowed him to run over it to safety without necessarily being in too bad a position. Combine that with exhaust from Morgana, and he just kind of dropped immediately, right? So you know, good tower trade, right? A good call from Microsoft to say, let's get the mid one to kind of trade for the top one. But now Mundo is unleashed. He is in the game and is only going to become a bigger and bigger threat. So if we are seeing less of the rotation game and more of the team fight game, I would be very worried for Microsoft out of what we've seen from them so far in terms of how their fights are going to actually stack up.
Yeah, and we're seeing Mundo not leaving the top lane, having both towers gone. That puts Rumble in kind of a dangerous situation. Just because Mundo having a Spirit Visage now, if he comes up behind Rumble, Rumble probably can't make it to safety in time. And he's actually, you know, about 40 CS behind Mundo now. 40 CS behind. That puts him in a huge gold gap too. So he's not going to be able to harass him out of lane. This top little exchange could go very bad for Microsoft. Yeah. Here he comes. Mundo coming out of the
looking
bush.
like he's going to go in. We're going to see how much he's going for.
Getting those auto attacks in. Rumble has to try to fight it, but not a great spot to be.
No flash.
This is what we talked
Rumble
about,
either.
that the dangerous situation you get into is you can't slow him down enough. You don't have a tower to run to, and Mundo's just gotten too tanky for you to tangle with him anymore.
Yeah, dude.
So Mundo can do this on rinse and repeat now, and who will take him down?
Yeah, and Crapile, man, that guy. Well, so I mean, he was the jungler last season, right? He switched to top lane, and as I was saying, the jungle was their weakest point last season. So this has clearly worked out amazingly for Amazon in terms of giving them something else. Urgot getting a little too close. You got to be scary, staring down a Gragas, being like, well, it doesn't really matter how tanky you are, Urgot. When you put him into the middle of your team, you know, doesn't really matter where you're going to swap to. Dia de Sol looking like he wants something to happen here. Starts charging up the Vault Breaker.
Yeah, we're seeing all these bindings come out. We're seeing Vi getting ready. I think they're just waiting for one snare or something to go off, just so everybody can start the combos.
Big damage out onto Silent J. Gonna get pretty chugged. He's gonna chug some potions. Equalizer will be up for this fight, so this is where we're really going to see.
We talked about this in the pregame.
Ibne.
Equalizer does go out. It hits a lot of
yeah. Tosh might go down from this, actually. Llama is now in a really bad spot.
Snaring.
Oh, boy.
Down. Oh, no, here comes two. Two are going to drop from Gragas here. Oh, Morgana's the only one left. And Azir, that gap closes. We talked about
Azir.
Just incredible range.
The order is given. Yeah, wow. That was...
raising the undead in this situation.
That is
looks like
exactly what they needed to come out of this. And so this is kind of a situation where it was good.
It's almost as if you predicted this.
Well, it was good for them to have jumped onto Rumble, right? But Rumble's equalizer went down, and it's funny. It didn't start off at a good position, but they forced it to be.
Well,
they forced it into value, if that makes sense. It was
Right.
after
that
after he
was
tossed
caught, for
it
sure.
after he tossed it down, they kept running on it after the fact. So Rumble, you get some good use out of your Rumble. You know, he was 0-2, wasn't really in the greatest position, and then you have amazing follow-up from Gragas and Azir because they're already in position. Right.
Everyone was slowed. They're maybe only a quarter of their health gone, but now you have an Azir throwing down his army behind you.
Yeah,
and just raking across your team.
Yeah, and your Lucian, like, you know, that was a 50-minute team fight, that Lucian could have cleaned up. He had a really good inside track. There were some low health members that he was firing on, but you know, 17 minutes.
Position.
Yeah, 17 minutes is not like when you think you're ball breaker and Ibne. They're just now saying they're just raging against him right now.
Ibne flashing over the wall. Gragas is here.
Oh, this equalizer is not going to do a whole lot of work against Mundo, but it probably will kill Dia de Sol. A rampage here for Broseph, number 4.
Yeah, that was not.
Oh no, no, not like this. In the bot lane, Forte.
Kalista.
AD carry battle going on.
Crit. That crit. Oh, Lucian's throwing out.
Oh my god,
there it goes.
Get cold though.
Get cold.
Wow.
Called out. All right, Mundo's trying to. He does not care.
Oh my god, this binding.
Oh, there goes Diana. That binding. If you get caught by one binding at this point in the game, it's pretty much a death sentence.
So we got distracted a little bit from the kind of cool Matrix
by
fight
the culling action.
But I want to talk about what just happened in the top lane a little bit. So, you know, they kind of are catching out. They're raging on Ibne. They're saying, well, we can continue to take this guy because a Rumble that's far behind, and when you have something like Mundo and Vi, it's just kind of a free kill whenever you find him, right? But they run too far and they're able to trade back onto Vi because she's kind of building more damage, and Equalizer's still pretty good against people who are not Mundo. But then you have up near the river where they have really good ward coverage. They have Scuttle Crab, they have pink wards and everything. If you look right below that pink ward, this whole entrance to their jungle is free for red side. Oh,
this fight mid. Oh, look, Morgana's getting knocked up. Kalista's starting to throw in some hits. This Azir is just doing, Broseph is just doing a great job holding the tower.
Yeah,
being 4-0, that AP lead
he is the problem for Amazon if they're going to want to close out this game, because as I was saying, Amazon is doing a really good job of finding little ways to take advantage of people, right? They go through, they play really well to their vision and are able to make you think that they've left an area or something, and then able to catch you out with a binding or just Mundo go on a little walkabout. So now mid lane looks like a fight may happen here.
Oh, this Janna needs to Jay needs to be careful. He's gotten hit a couple of times by some skill shots, and being half health from one Urgot E, he's gonna, if he gets hit by a binding again, it's gonna be another death.
They do have the obelisk to kind of protect their escape, so that is a situation when you have that going on, you can just kind of say, well, I'll chill back here, right? It's not the biggest thing for me to have to worry about. If we get engaged on, we can just run through. It does a good bit of damage. Ruru might get caught out by this Mundo here. Passes by a pink ward.
He's just chilling in the enemy jungler.
I think they'll know. Yeah, they're gonna kill this ward. So they know a pink ward is around here now. If Gragas ever makes his way back over, but really good kill distribution for both teams, especially Amazon. Right, having
Gold is almost dead even.
Yeah, which is pretty fantastic after we've witnessed some solo kills not go their way and that last big team fight, right? 2 minutes up until Dragon, but the lead from Mundo is starting to slow down a little bit. He's converted into kills, which is nice. The other thing I want to say is Ibne going for Liandry's Torment, not actually the common misconception, not actually the item that you want to get. You usually want to go for your double, well, you want to go for your double pen, right? And Liandry's is certainly very good, but it is not that gold efficient when you complete it, right? It's one of those items that you want to get the Haunting Guise. You maybe want to spend your gold elsewhere, right?
Until late game, and then you
want to get your Landry's Torment, right? Because this way he's doing maybe like what, an extra, like a very little amount of damage to people like Mundo, who are already sitting on.
Focus on countering Mundo in those top lane exchanges. I don't think that's the solution necessarily, but that seems to be the effort, is to kind of help in that duel.
It's definitely the intent, but to me it might signal that Ibne is not as comfortable on this champion as, say, Jax or some of his other kind of fighter type characters like Nara or Aurelia. These also.
It's kind of similar to like a Riven. When you play Riven a lot, you kind of know whether you need to be going Brutalizer or Bloodthirster, but it's kind of situational, and you learn those things as you get more experience. In the same respect with Rumble, there's certain matchups that you know that even though it would normally be your first item, not against that champion.
Yeah, Krapile. Oh God! Oh, he is going down too hard now. The Ignite is going down. First hit of Soul Shackles goes on there. Kalista. Oh, the Equalizer misses just about everyone. A lot of ultimates going down. The 80 carries are in a dangerous place, but AHGL is going to be able to get a lot of damage out for him. Dashes into the Azir wall. That is not what you wanted. He was just doing it to get the extra auto attacks off to maybe shut down Ibne, but ended up getting bounced by the soldiers. Looked a little goofy right there. And so, man, I have to wonder what is going wrong in the Amazon comms, because that Equalizer hit actually nothing. Ibne put that on his own team. Was trying to burn them down.
I'm going to go with the strategy of to keep your team from being dove. He just put it on there preemptively.
Sure. Well, so Ardent Sensor from Silent J actually doing a bit of work when I call out that item. Not something that we see a whole ton of. Does give you attack speed and magic damage on hit now.
It's actually, yeah, I was going to say, it's actually because of this last patch, the magic damage on hit, I've started to build it on a lot of champions I wasn't doing it on previously, especially fast attack champions such as Kalista. You get a huge benefit from that on-hit effect. 30 extra damage per hit.
Right, and if you think about Janna as a character, right, not only is she shielding someone, but when she used that ult in the team fight, as she did, channels it for just a little bit, her entire team gets attack speed, and you see this 5-0 for Azir. That guy might like attack
bonus
speed.
Attack on
Yeah,
hit
he is
well.
because this is the same reason in things like LCK that you see Nunu Azir comps, right? You see they give Blood Boil to Azir, and his damage just spikes immensely. So now hook him up with an Ardent Sensor, right?
And a shield from Janna.
And those soldiers are going to be going to town pretty quickly.
Yeah. So
and
not
I wonder
so bad as it turns out. I wonder what would happen if we had a Teemo though. If only had a Teemo.
Oh, I know. It's funny that they say, they really wanted to play Teemo, but it's entirely possible that the Janna is what's winning
the
these
purpose?
fights.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Janna is probably doing much better than if you had picked Teemo.
Yeah. Theoretically.
But yeah. Well, so another thing too is they're playing so much of the game well, but it feels like they're not giving enough respect to the Azir on the side of this Amazon team. They put everything on Kalista that fight. Well, Kalista is kind of like, if you play this game at a high level, everyone knows to be scared of Kalista, right? Like the carry potential of that champion is immense, but it's not what's killing you right now. You need to go for this Azir and not just let him free cast on your entire team. Krapile, he's popping the ult. It always looks a little scary for a second because Mundo's ult costs health to cast. So you're like,
yeah,
oh,
so when
God.
you see that drop, you're like, oh, he just got hit.
You're like, oh, they're burning him down a lot. And it's like, oh, no, never mind. It was Mundo. He's good.
I'm actually surprised this top tower's still alive. Oh, Azir just missing that binding.
This is the
definitely
binding.
saving his life.
Vault break. And
Equalizer going out.
Another terrible Equalizer from
Crap pile.
Just
Azir is wrecking this Mundo here. Mundo's still alive. Could be using that speed.
Kalista. So right on the backside. I don't know what everyone is seeing on stream because we're looking at our own spectator clients. Yeah. If you look, Morgana is walking with just a sliver of health. Manages to pull off the stun and flash away. Kalista rended too early, not able to get the kill. So that's a tower and a jungler down, and everyone is Goyard licking their wounds. Look,
Mundo was an auto attack from death, and Azir was chasing him, but just couldn't keep up with his speed.
Yeah. Teleporting back to what is soon to be a down tower. He makes it in time. Gragas is
But there are
here.
3 people there. This Mundo is just going ham. Come on, Mundo's
ult is up. They could make something happen out of this.
Lucian's coming in. They do have Urgot there if they can get the exchange. Watch out for that Kalista. Kalista cannot get too close. Ooh, Urgot does the exchange on Janna. Janna getting binding, and then Kalista escorting Janna out very promptly.
This Gragas is still pretty big, and it looks like he's free casting right now.
Oh, Urgot's going to drop Janna. One more auto attack. Oh, Azir coming across the wall. Looks like Lucian. Here comes the calling coming out from the side.
Oh my God,
Rumble
this is
just
such a messy fight.
Going down here. Looks like Vi's been dropped and Mundo's been dropped, but there's only Azir and Gragas left. for the Microsoft
2
team.
for 3, and Llamas
These
is
are
trying to
very
make his
strong
way over.
too. Watch out for this Azir. He could take down all 3 if they're not careful. Oh, and here comes the Lucian. If he drops right here,
Oh man,
that's 1. Oh,
that
Gragas does not have any mana.
That was an amazing set of shields dropped on him. And does he make it? No, Yururu showing off his mechanics here a little bit.
He is
Gets another
great
flash
mechanics,
down.
dodging the binding, dodging almost every single spell.
I think they're gonna let him go. He's definitely out of here. Urgot making his presence known in that fight. And that was such an intense fight. People constantly going over each wall. People low here, low there. And I think this is the time that Mundo needs to pick himself up a Thornmail. Like if he had had that in this fight, Kalista would have
all
killed
that extra
himself on him.
damage for sure. Yeah,
Definitely.
Azir was doing a great job at keeping himself at a very huge, very good distance. Kalista saving Janna for just that split second so she can get a couple more spells in. Really good plays on both sides. I think Azir giving up that 500 gold from his killing spree did shift a little bit of gold, which is, not good situation, but in the grand scheme of things, he still did good positioning, and Gragas was able to pick up a whole bunch of kills. So
yeah.
It was not the worst case scenario.
So another fight is about to go down. It's 3 dragons to 0. Really great dragon control that has been coming out. Urgot is here. I'm just saying, I'm getting so worried. So Urgot is a champion. Oh, it looks like they're trying to go for the fight here.
The binding
Urgot
does
is
hit
getting caught out of position. Ults onto Janna again.
Janna
Has
ults
done this
back.
a couple times.
She could shield. She's going down.
Kalista is now squaring off with Urgot. Makes it happen. This equalizer
hits Mundo. Mundo's too low. He goes down.
Equalizer still. I'm just hoping he gets one good equalizer. They may win this game, but those equalizers.
This Janna has gotten caught almost on purpose because every time it seems to cost them more champions than it gains them. She'll get down to about 10% health, and then Kalista escorts Janna out, and Janna will separate out the teams. There's a really good play there.
Yeah, what it really comes down to is it's just the decision making from Llamas. When he's in team fights that are on his terms, we're seeing a lot of really good target selection. He's really putting down damage on the people that he needs to. But when he gets caught out, it seems like he panic ulted. He was like, "Oh, how do I get out of this situation?"
So he'll ult to get himself out.
and so he ulted Silent J, which just puts
Janna in the middle of your team, which is where he wants to be.
Right, because then he blows everyone else away, right? It's just a thing where maybe grabbing Kalista, maybe grabbing, even going the other way and saying like, let's go to the tank and maybe I'll get.
It's gotta be either Azir or Kalista, in my opinion. You need to take
lord,
these guys down.
The Azir damage, Baron has just been taken. The Azir damage is massive now. That was I think two or three auto attacks in 1 Q. Regardless, it happened in a very short amount of time. Game is starting to pull away from them right now, but they were able to take that first dragon. And when the enemy team has a couple, being able to stop that momentum, but also get the bonus at a time in the game when the bonus actually matters, is pretty good.
Vi is about 2k gold behind everybody else right now. It's kind of hurting her a bit in the tankiness department.
Oh my god,
0 and 5. This is the point that we talked about. And even though Urgot gets that advantage in the early game in the lane, end game, that long range poke, this is where they really start to take off. So even though it looked like Amazon might have had that huge advantage in the beginning, now that you have
they can't defend this either. This is just an entire inhibitor being taken here. And
who do you send in to tank Azir's damage?
Yeah, I mean, you really have to get to him. Oh yeah, ooh, huge.
That's a big wave. Someone needs to defend that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that people will forget is that those minions, if you're not keeping track of them, you will lose towers if you're not keeping track. And it looks like this top tower might even go down. It's going down pretty quickly to these minions, and Rumble just getting there in time, but it only has about 20% health left.
Yeah, I have to question the build from Dia de Sol here. He's a master player. I'm sure, he's certainly very used to.
He'll give you some reasons, I'm sure.
In a lot of situations, crushing down on people with his high damage builds.
The wombo combo and blowing them up.
But this is not really what I was hoping to see out of Vi, and kind of the issue with this character in the current metagame. When people play Cinderhulk Vi, you have a very different role, right? You're very much for repeated Vault Breaker cast, so you're not so much there for damage. But when you go for the heavy damage and it does not work out, we've seen this in LCS, we've seen this just about everywhere, your character feels very ineffective, right? And so not only is she just getting poked down, here Yoru is gonna almost take her down.
But oh no, she's definitely going down. There he goes. Gragas coming in, just using his ulti to kind of keep her picked out. Oh, and that Azir damage is massive. Lucian's down to about 1/3 of his health. Even Mundo's going down quickly. If Azir gets one more poke in here, he's probably just going to go all in. The culling comes out from Lucian, and it looks like they're not going to be able to defend this tower.
Also important to note, Janna did get ulted again by Gragas, or by Urgot in that fight. Did get swapped again.
And then so Kalista just brought her straight back.
Yeah, so I think...
Oh, Binding does hit Kalista.
That must be the 4th Urgot ult in a row. You know, it's looking like this game is on its last leg here, so I want to talk about kind of how it went through. Right. So I still think the comp was good. I still think how they played, especially at least how Krapile played on his Mundo, you know, he played fantastically. The thing was, they weren't enough forward thinking about how they wanted these fights to execute, right? Which is how it led to a really big issue in their first Dragon fight, where they all said, oh, we'll group up for the enemy team, right? This team that has no real way of forcing us into the situations they want, let's just lay down on this equalizer and let Azir brutally murder us, right? So
it's almost that the confidence is what really ruined it. Was they were doing great, had a good position, so they started to play a little bit more aggressive. And in that little bit more aggression, the fights started not necessarily working out in their favor, as in they would, you know, catch Silent J or catch somebody. Dia de Sol would come in, and as soon as that vault was launching in, you would just see Silent J just use her tornado and disengage Vi. And if you are a full damage Vi, what happens on that disengage is as soon as you land, you just get blown up and die and never get any gold, and you might not even get assists.
Yeah, so I mean, so now it looks like they're getting kind of overwhelmed here. I would just like Amazon to say, like, maybe Vi is a pick that could change. I think you could keep a pretty similar team, honestly, if you could get it. I think Azir is something that you perhaps reconsider, or you change up your matchup, right? Zed and LeBlanc, I think LeBlanc was banned. I don't believe Zed was. And Zed does pretty well against Azir as well, and can make sure that in fights he can actually maneuver around the later the game goes on and perhaps kind of crush him down. We do.
My thing I'm wondering with that pick though is maybe they weren't picking Zed because they had a Mundo and a Vi. They kind of wanted to get a little bit more range poke in there. So Urgot would be kind of someone who could take out Azir really early game if it went well.
Right. I think they have comparable poke, right? You have shurikens versus your missiles. You do still need to land a little bit of a shorter range ability to lock on with the missiles. Right. It's more just about, like, they don't have good target selection later on in these fights. And so if you're already not playing well enough to dodge how the opponents want to engage you, you need to make sure that your plan can kind of go off without a hitch. And so swapping out Vi for someone that can play a bit more in the middle of the team and kind of flexibly peel or flexibly dive, and then put
maybe like a Maokai or something,
and then put llamas on someone that he can really start assassinating or doing more damage with, because in the right situation.
Oh, this Azir poke is just dropping people. There goes the equalizer coming out. Vi is going to take one more poke, and there she goes, going down. Mundo being the last one left alive. Oh no, Lucian's still up at the tower
giving
trying
a back
to fight
scratch. Oh.
Yeah, he just got poked twice by Kalista and then decided to back out.
Yeah, they did take a lot of damage from some of these other turrets. If they're getting swapped into the tower, it's going to have to flash away, but Yoru is just being the bodyguard. It's funny, as we're talking about, like, what other mid lane picks this guy could have to work in the late game, this Azir's just like, oh, I'm going to crush him.
Yeah, Azir, as we kind of talked about, that late game, it just destroys your whole team. They picked up a Kalista and an Azir, which is almost meant for late game. You just won't touch either of us. They're two very, very hard people to get your hands on that have a really good poke and engage. So that was actually a pretty strategy. I do wonder about again, I don't think Teemo would have done nearly as well as Janna. did on this matchup, especially against like a Vi or someone who had a hard engage. I think.
Well,
Janna
that
was
said,
amazing.
I would love to see it next game because there are some interesting things. Blind does do pretty well against Mundo, and it does pretty well against Vi in terms of making sure that a lot of their damage in fights doesn't necessarily hit the level that you want it to be. They're just going to speed over to Bear, and they're just kind of taking control of the whole map at this point. But also, you know, I would imagine that Teemo support is not just for the lane, but also the mushrooms, right? And like
the vision
how you can make sure that the enemy team is in combination with your vision control, never at a place on the map that is safe. So that's how I can kind of see the theory of it, right? And why I believe that it could be pretty good, especially, I mean, it's his most played. So it's also kind of hype to see that. In the same way that Ibne has forsaken Jax and then gotten carried by his team on the back of the worst equalizers I've ever seen. If he was a hero and picked Jax, you know, maybe we'd be singing his praises as well. Who knows?
Yeah, I think the funny thing was Ibne was getting caught out so much earlier in the beginning, and the big point that sort of turned around was whenever he came to the dragon, got caught, threw down the equalizer, hit all 5 enemy teammates.
His dying
5
breath.
assists.
That was
his dying breath. Was
no,
5 assists.
He got a lot of gold off that. I'm making fun of him because I like the guy. I think Microsoft has played this game really well. I think the early 20-25 minutes, it was kind of both everyone's game, but you look at how the fights have gone. Yururu and Broseph have just been this wall that have made sure that, even as Blue's forte is, trying to make a name for himself in this finals debut, right? Between, he's the new guy on the team, right? Clearly he's played with them all season, but he's doing a good enough job on Callista.
Here comes Callista on Mundo,
he's gonna go down.
Black Shield.
Pops Rend at the wrong time. You always think you can get it, but Mundo's just too tanky. But yeah, Yururu and Broseph really making sure this game never got away from them. Once those two players had leads, it was like, it's okay. You can die in a team fight if we need you to. You can do whatever to make sure. This Soul going
all
back
in this year. She
onto
wants it.
Broseph hasn't taken real damage from this guy. He's like, all right. Black Cleaver, not the biggest damage item.
Cool.
Ooh, swap Silent J onto the fountain for the swag kill.
It's a great time.
Llamas, you see these moments of mechanical brilliance from this guy, but not really on a character that he can affect the game too much.
Ruru ending the game with 0 deaths.
Yeah.
Just kind of showing what you were talking about, just in everyone's lane, playing it safe. As soon as he gets the advantage, he's aggressively playing it safe.
Yeah, and the goal disparity by the end of that game was pretty massive. Anyways, we are going to take a 5-minute break as these teams take a sec to regroup and give us another battle. So I imagine we're going to cut to some stock photo or music or something like that.
Yeah, we're going to just take a quick break real quick and get some little fun music. I actually like just listening to all the fun player-made soundtracks and music videos like APs and things like that. Match underway.
Yeah, the teams have swapped sides, had some time to talk about what went wrong, especially in Champ Select.
That's what went wrong.
Well, I mean, they also didn't pick Teemo, right?
If they had Teemo, it would have been different.
Right. If they had Teemo, they would have won even harder, maybe. Besides, they didn't both lose, right? They both have a lot of things to talk over, decide how they want to handle the next game. So we're going to be getting into that in a second.
I'm really hoping we see the Teemo in this. I would just be so excited to watch the support team.
I mean, I'm always a firm believer that when you are in this kind of situation where your backs are against the wall, if you have those picks that you think are a little bit more
offbeat,
right, but ones that you feel very, very comfortable in, at least on the side of Amazon, that you should be playing those. You should be pulling them out. So Callista ban immediately. They felt like that was a
no
really
more of
big
that.
deal. And honestly, Callista's deceptive because even when she's not having the strongest impact, she felt pretty okay as an AD carry in that game.
You can't leave her alone.
Well, it's like
even if
her,
she's weak.
It's not even that. Like I disagree actually. I think if her damage is low and she's not doing very well, that's fine. But like you can never kill their support, for instance, right? A lot of times when they wanted to try to take out Silent J at the beginning of the fight, that's gone, right? if you want to try and contest dragons or barons, right, with Ren, that's gone, right? There are a lot of other benefits to having a Callista on your team that are not just team fighting. Azir bans, they're basically saying, let's take our entire ban strategy that we had on red side and let's completely adapt it for what crushed us in this last game. So I don't think they're going to be banning Rumble.
It's like, so that happened.
It's possible that they're going to ban or take Gragas here, actually, or try and get you Ruru and something else, because it seems like that's the only thing they haven't solved for. They took something out of the bot lane, took something out of the mid lane. They were doing fantastically in the top lane. So interested to see what they go for here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to try to pick out Gragas right here. Ibni, last game with Rumble, didn't go quite as planned. I'm wondering if we're going to see a different top lane now.
Yeah, they were talking about it in the lobby. They're saying
there goes the Gragas ban.
They were giving them a lot of trouble for some of those equalizers. Yeah, the Gragas ban makes a lot of sense. Very highly contested jungler, right? And something that I'm sure Yururu does not want to play against, especially as someone that likes to play the Vi and Rengar types. Gonna lock the Maokai here. Could, off chance that it's a jungle Maokai, but could also, is very likely just to be a top lane Maokai. Crab Pile is, you just saw how good he is in the top lane this last game. Kind of a similar character, a bit more team fight dynamics going on. Sivir being hovered over, wouldn't be surprised if that one gets locked in though. And Ibne thinking what high priority thing they want to take away.
Yeah, and a Nautilus. Now Nautilus probably support. But we've finally seen him in jungle a bit too recently.
Yeah, incredibly likely that this is going to be support. Then again, Silent J likes to play the weird stuff, so we don't know yet. And now Sejuani and LeBlanc. LeBlanc was banned last time.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, and so this is tough because Broseph, right? Like this kind of shuts off your Ziggs style pick, right? Like you're going to have to go over to the Kassadin, the Zed,
combo someone and blow them up.
Right, because if you just pick a regular, what I might call a fair laner, you're probably going to get dunked by this LeBlanc. Cho'Gath, though, being hovered could be really good for the mid lane. I have issues with Cho'Gath in
mobility
fights. Well, it's not just mobility. It's just saying that these tanks can just kind of CC him down. Like he's not very guaranteed. He's very unreliable damage, but can certainly be very good against LeBlanc, right? If you do land the silence, it'll be really good. That Hecarim is going to be going to the top lane. I like the smite over the ignite still in Hecarim.
Yeah, it's not a bad situation either. Having that Cho'Gath, just because you're going to want a little bit more of that front line initiate. With the APs they have, Nautilus and Hecarim, that's plenty of initiate. Cho'Gath, you're actually right. Actually, that's you have two semi-tanky people on your team already. Third, even a fourth might not be necessary. If it's Braum, that means it would be Nautilus jungle, which was the unlikely scenario we talked about. But still, Nautilus jungle with that Cinder Hulk has just gotten so much stronger. That kind of really made a huge difference for him. But Sejuani is also equally tanky and has an also really good ultimate initiate for the team fights. I'd say Sejuani's ultimate seems to be a little bit better just because it's that instant gratification. Works really, really well with the LeBlanc, instantly locking somebody down. However, Nautilus is a great person just for chasing down LeBlanc. She's so hard to get your hands on. I don't know if they'll be able to have anybody on their team who can actually catch her. I'm looking at this team here. There's a lot of beef, a lot of tank, but I'm only seeing Sivir as your poke. I don't know how that's going to turn out.
So taking more of an analytical view at the teams as they stand right now. You have double smite on the side of Microsoft, right? Objective fighting is going to be really good for them. Also, Hecarim is going to be able to dive on top of your AD carry. Granted, they do have Maokai and they have Thresh, so they have a good bit of peel. I'm a little surprised that we're not seeing the Morgana again, because they didn't see the Braum pick, but against things
This
like
team.
Rupture and Depth Charge, the Nautilus ultimate, would have liked to see Black Shield, right? Still very effective, as
Right.
well as kind of being a short range kind of brawling team. You can actually get your Zhonya's, well, you can get your Soul Shackles off without Zhonya's, but especially with it, because so
Yeah.
many people have to get close, especially Sivir, to make the damage happen.
Yeah, that
AHGL
Thresh pick is not bad if you're trying to lock down a single target, though. It's not
Yeah.
that they have poke that they have to engage if you hook.
Sure. But what I'm saying is, Microsoft has kind of countered that by saying everyone on our team is tanky, right? Like with the exception of Sivir, it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, hooked Cho'Gath,
Right,
go
like
for it, right?
LeBlanc
It's
is
like,
gonna burst someone.
yeah, and so that's the thing is now LeBlanc is quite good at chunking a lot of these champions, but there is no candidate for deletion outside of Sivir, and even then, she's going to have Spell Shield, she's going to have things like Braum trying to protect her, and stuff like that. So if Llamas goes off this game, it can be very tough because she can, on a very low cooldown, just blow her double distortion combo on someone like a Hecarim, and then Hecarim just has to leave, right? He doesn't really have a way to continue to be in the fight. A chunked out Cho'Gath can at least say, oh, here's a Rupture that's going to do 1 billion damage and like CC people maybe, right? Like he can at least throw out the abilities, but
the knock up silence combo on LeBlanc is pretty brutal because it'll knock out her image. Your Rupture can just hit whatever the closest target is, whether it be LeBlanc or LeBlanc's image. You can still kind of throw your spikes at her.
Yeah. That certainly is something that they're going to be looking to do, but this sort of like, they really need Dio de Sol and Crabpile to actually be damage threats. Like, not like you're gonna build like a whole ton of AP.
Throw out.
I mean, they do damage just kind of by existing, but what this means is not getting behind in levels and staying strong in team fights, because their base damages and just the repeatability of that. Like Sejuani is a huge threat damage-wise, right? Flail the Northern Winds, or W, scales so well with HP, and Cinderhulk just like
against all these high health champions,
right? That it just goes pretty bananas in terms of her being able to put out massive, consistent damage. So if you get the game to a situation where Maokai and Sejuani are constantly in Sivir's face, then that means you have all these other tanks or like divers like Hecarim that are not going to match up very well against LeBlanc and Lucian in the right situation. So it's just a thing. If we're going to trade frontline and backline, and our damage threats are going to deal with your tanks faster than yours deal with ours.
And it's interesting with Microsoft's team is that if they do get ahead, you have Nautilus, Hecarim. If they can get ahead, they can start tower diving repeatedly, kind of anywhere they want. You have enough tanky people exchanging hits, it'll turn out of control really fast. The downside is, towards the late game, if you don't secure that lead and you don't get that huge health comparison difference, it's going to be hard in these team fights because you have to get an all-in fight, preferably not under tower, like near a dragon or some other objective. But you do not want to try to chase down the Amazon team. That's going to be the brutal thing, is that finishing people off and actually securing those kills through a Thresh, pushing people off, and a Maokai, it's going to be really hard to catch LeBlanc or Lucian. So I think that they just have a lot of options of just leaving for an unfavorable scenario, and Microsoft does not have so much. They're more of a, hey, if we're going to fight, let's pick a good position and just brawl.
Yeah, certainly.
I'm going to be looking for this initial fight. It looks like Microsoft's going to have the huge advantage having, the Nautilus hook and Cho'Gath Rupture.
Yeah, they are probably going to get a lot more respect from Amazon this time.
Yeah, just
we'll see if there can't be any flashes blown yet still, but it looks like Amazon just deciding to post up, kind of hang out in a bunch of different areas, make sure just scouting because they don't want any trouble. LeBlanc knows she's in a ward, decides to dance.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how this first dragon goes. That's, I think, the moment I'm going to be waiting for is that first dragon when Sivir's trying to get into the action. If she can get her damage off, get ahead, It's kind of like some teams have done where you build it around Vayne or someone with a, really long range poke that can kind of help your whole team. If you just protect your AD carry, you can protect that one person, your whole team wins. If that person dies in the beginning, you have no damage.
Yeah, Sivir is interesting because she's not as bad at dealing damage as people say. Like, I mean, she's an AD carry, right? She builds Infinity Edge and she clicks on people. She'll definitely do a lot of hurt, but we have seen teams like this that I think this is almost an exact team comp that was used at MSI by, I think it was AHQ, where they took Cho'Gath and they had Sivir, and then they had a bunch of the kind of tanky people.
And just bull rush people.
Well, so what I'm saying is the issue was Sivir would go down and they wouldn't have enough threat after that, right? Hecarim, though, like Hecarim with Smite, if he is able to play it well, can kind of be, I would call this like a 2.5 threat comp.
Yeah.
Like, Cho'Gath and Hecarim and Sivir are all kind of like approaching 3, but not necessarily, not 3 in how we saw it last game, right?
Ooh, Thresh is about to get stunned down here, a little bit low.
Thresh getting stunned, but Sejuani started on the opposite side, so this time they actually took the little Krug, so Lucian would get level 2 first. So they didn't want to fight on that because he was 2 and everyone else was 1. So putting yourself in a situation for Lucian to deal that much damage is not what you're looking for.
Ooh, and Sivir getting hooked into the tower, takes 1 hit, uses the heal and flash, throwing on a boomerang and retaliation, but that is both summoners down. Sejuani, you can probably come back in to pick up red and pay a visit to bot. It's be a very opportune time.
Yeah, certainly could. I mean, they may be able to just handle it by themselves. I mean, Tosh really showing that already, well, we saw his skill shots are pretty good in the bottom lane. He had a high hit rate on those bindings. But now the death sentence is working out well enough for them.
Yeah, I'm watching these exchanges mid, and I'm seeing Llamas just kind of repeatedly poking Broseph, and Broseph responds with a silence auto attack, and then just goes back to what he was doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of sustain on Cho'Gath that makes laning against him very difficult. Another hook lands. The ignite is going out.
Started off on
this could be too dangerous here.
Oh, this is gonna be first blood. Yep. It's going to be the double kill. Braum getting knocked back, and Lucian picking up that double kill from first blood. That is 700 gold in his favor.
Yeah,
very good start there.
And this is his best and favored character, and he did not do too bad a job playing on this Lucian last time. The biggest issue was just that he was in kind of a dangerous position a lot of the times, right? Like you could see maybe if he had a little bit more damage, he would go a little less hard in the paint, but dashing into his ear walls, maybe he will be able to just...
Cho'Gath coming into this dragon, this might be interesting. But all 3, level 3, but Cho'Gath could take him down if they take too much damage from this dragon. Sejuani's going to get towards the back. Probably has to get out pretty soon. Blanc coming in for the distraction. Llamas just in time, it looks like. They need to get out of here. And a Burning Flash, probably a good idea. Gets dragon, gets out, nobody dies.
Yeah, Sejuani and Lucian dash over the wall. Thresh trades his flash, which, for the double kill and for the dragon, certainly
not a bad situation.
The first
Sejuani might get executed here. I want to see if this happens.
No, she got out in time.
Oh.
That's the
That's always embarrassing. It's the master tier execute by jungle.
Well, so that's the thing. If he was merely a Diamond 1 jungler, he would have died there.
Right.
The master tier decision making got him out of that one. But yeah, excited to see how or if they're able to carry this through in the bottom lane, how they're able to take it here. I have to say I'm not sure about the Braum pick because of how Silent J likes to play. Right. I'm not saying there should have been a Teemo, but I'm saying he plays enough unorthodox champions. He plays enough unorthodox champions that can kind of swing things in your favor. That Braum is one of those where, well, yes, the stun makes it like he's a threat. Like right now, like even it doesn't matter how strong your Lucian is. If he doesn't have his summoners and he gets caught out, he can die. Yeah. He himself can't do much alone to make a big play.
If Sivir dies, he's not going to be the brawler who brings it back.
Right, where you saw like Janna by this time in the lane last
she was
time.
auto-attacking like a mother.
Yeah, he was zoning fantastically, but then even later in the fights, he was canceling abilities with his Howling Gale. Braum is very much, I need my carry to be strong, and then we're incredibly powerful.
Ooh.
Another hook going out here. Ooh, and a spell shield
Second one, Silent
wasted.
Day. Oh. Mr.
Oh,
Jwani
God.
coming in. Might be taken down. He's very, very low. Lucian's going to go for it. One more auto attack. Gets hit under tower, takes the kill.
Oh,
but
no,
Sivers
but
gonna
gives a
pick up the
killing
kill in
spree to
exchange.
Sivir.
Maybe
That was just-
good, but kind of a dangerous play because Sivir's the one person you don't want to give kills to right now.
Yeah, having to use his flash there, that was a little dangerous. What I would have liked to see is him just following and trying to get the Q through Sivir
Yeah.
to get onto Braum rather than having to use his flash. Well, LeBlanc going very aggressive, trying to get him as low as he can.
I love how Thresh was playing aggressive on the Sivir and still is down the bottom here. And Sivir's just doing everything she can to just keep poking back. She's responded on every poke, regardless how many people are in the enemy team. So, not a bad job. Top lane exchanges have been hilarious all game. Just a lot of really good fights, back between Maokai and Hecarim, but neither of them are doing enough damage to take anyone dangerously low.
Yeah, Hecarim hasn't finished his Skirmisher Saber yet, which is really where the Smite top laner starts to become very good, as you would expect, right? And these fights go from cute to deadly in terms of the wet noodles. Oh, flashing in with the Ignite.
And the Ignite.
Flashed away to make sure that he didn't get eaten by Feast. Broseph is just kind of cashing in a little bit of his advantage right here. He has a CS lead. He's going to continue to get one. Nautilus is in the jungle.
Blue.
Yeah, it looks like he was able to make it out. They knew that it was there, though, so they'll hopefully be able to time it for next time. But, yeah, 3-1 Lucian. Not what you want to see, but giving a killing spree over to, the winning team. The character that beat you last time, not the thing that you want to see.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those things where it's not optimal, but not the worst case scenario either. Sivir's also 10 CS ahead of him. Not that that's a huge amount, but Sivir's somebody who, if she's got a little bit of gold early game, she can out-farm so many champions.
Yeah, she is just a farm vacuum. Next dragon coming up in 2 minutes. Oh, actually stops her recall there.
Next, Maokai's teleporting to top. Does not want to miss out on the CS.
Ooh, this LeBlanc has got to be very careful because...
Very low.
Okay, makes it...
Oh, there goes the bite. You gotta get out of here.
Here comes Nautilus now.
Oh, good leap over that wall there. That would have pretty much been it. Nautilus pops off that ulti. You're not getting away.
That's the thing, too, when you're against Shogath and a jungler like Nautilus, you can't just go as aggressive as you wish you
I'm just
could.
gonna burst him and... Oh wait, there's more of them. Yeah, you literally just don't have enough mana to burst out both of them.
Yeah, Ibne's still losing out on farm once again. This is not as drastic an advantage as we saw, but if he teleports down and isn't able to convert on something again, we could see it balloon into something very big. One big point of criticism I have here for Crap Pile is and a gank comes in for the mid lane.
Oh, there goes the ulti.
Doesn't
good
land
dodge.
the stun. He's gonna be getting out of this one.
Yeah,
if they had been able to land the stun, maybe something would have happened. Depth charge goes out onto Sejuani, but not
does
really
not want to
sure.
get caught.
Yeah, another big fight here in the bottom lane. It looks like AHGL and Taj could be going down. Stun is out onto both of them, but here comes the culling to back scratch onto Braum.
Really low.
Yeah, so many people are fighting right before Dragon. This is my criticism. Is Nautilus blows ult, Sejuani blows ult. They both blow flashes.
Unlike
and then,
not guaranteed kills either.
And Maokai burned his teleport to get back to lane, knowing that Dragon would be up in about a minute. So Hecarim has his, and very
Nautilus
critically.
is to the bot lane now. Silent J is still going back in. I think he knows there's a ward, but seeing Nautilus, just hoping that he's going to get there a little sooner. You got to be careful that your ADC cannot back you up very well right now.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue for me is Ibne did not capitalize on any of this he got a health crystal instead of home guard. If he had finished his home guard, there's so many people low on the map right now that
just teleport in and clean up something.
Teleport in, force them away, and get a free dragon, right? Like you can get free kills and advantages off of that if you try to go for it. Because now with Maokai's teleport, I would say 60% of the way cooled.
Yeah.
Amazon can play in such a way that just says we're not going to go for the dragon until it's up. Where when you have TP advantage or those discrepancies, you want to be looking for that efficiency.
Yeah, Hecarim still has his, TP as well, but he's just trying to, push the top lane back and forth. And it seems that, Ibne is trying to push the lane out.
Oh, it actually looks like they're going to go for it here. This is dangerous. They timed it with the recall of the bot lane, so it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to stop
It doesn't
them.
seem like there's vision there either. They have all 14 members. Looks like they're going to get this uncontested. And is that, let's see here, is that going to be 2 dragons? 2 dragons now, it looks like. 2 dragons, the
at
kill
11
lead.
minutes.
At 11 minutes, and Lucian with 3 kills. This is turning scary.
Yeah,
fast.
the early dragons don't matter as much. This is something you'll hear people say. It doesn't mean that they aren't useful, but it just means that the bonuses that they give at that stage of the game are not as strong. But
I agree.
What it does mean, right, is like getting them out of the way, especially this early, is setting you on a strong track to succeed. It's kind of like
that third one, the movement speed is going to make a huge difference in these
going
fights.
down.
And Sejuani just getting comboed. The Nautilus Cho'Gath combo, that is one thing that I guess I didn't, really look into enough, that they can just keep you locked down for almost 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And you can't cast anything to get away.
Yeah, that was like pretty questionable play from Dia de Sol there, honestly. I would really question his decision making. You know that you are not full health, right? He was sitting at about 70%, maybe 65. LeBlanc is at her tower, and you're going deep to kill a pink ward, right? Pink wards take a lot of time. Like that's why I really, really enjoy.
It's like 5 hits, right?
Yeah. It's just kind of you have to actually be able to devote a lot of time to take one of those out. Yeah, the Cho'Gath does so much damage, especially with Feast, right?
Yeah. This Thresh has been doing a good job of dodging Silent J's harassment.
Forte's Boomerang Blade goes completely wide.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be a little careful with this bot lane. So we're watching Braum trying to push out the river here, get some vision in there, but Tosh has just been zoning him, and then here comes the ulti from Sivir. Nautilus is trying to get in there, but they can't even get into tower range in time.
Nautilus doesn't actually have depth charge because he used it on Sejuani, so I'm not really sure what the thinking was there.
Maybe they're going back and just want to push the lane, is my only guess.
Maybe,
he has been freezing the lane, so it might be one of those, just push it in there, get rid of the minions, get back to tower, let's go by and try this again.
Yeah, pretty interesting because now, it looks like they're recalling, or they're going to try to. Oh, if Tosh continued walking in, well, if he just walked in, he could have flayed them as well, but it looked like he kind of turned around there at the last minute. Llamas could be in a really dangerous spot. This Cho'Gath is very effective in the mid lane. First tower going down there as well. Gold.
About 30 CS ahead as well. He's doing really good farming. Has not had to leave the lane as much as LeBlanc has. Llamas has gone back almost every time he's done about 2 exchanges with Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Crap Pile though really
laying it in hard.
Down on Ibne. Yeah. Skirmisher Saber still not finished for Ibne.
Crap Pile might not be able to make it back on this. He's very good connection. Flashes back to the tower. Do not dive a Maokai. I do not think this is a good idea to go any further. Yeah, it's a really good job there. And Cho'Gath gets hooked by Thresh. Really good roam there. That was a good time for that.
Yeah, Maokai out farming and then outplaying the gank. There's a 2v1 dive on the bot lane, but Sivir ends up going down as well. Pretty good play from AHGL to make sure he finishes that one down. And then the 3-man unit here in the mid lane is able to take out Cho'Gath. And Cho'Gath is a risky pick for this reason. You know, he's a lane bully. He's really strong, but once more people start coming, well, more players that start coming to the table, he starts losing those feast stacks pretty quickly. And now you're constantly met with the decision is, can I actually use this big cooldown? Let's see. Oh, he'll be fine.
Yeah, Crap Pile's out. He has no mana.
Yeah, Hecarim doesn't have any mana, and he casts enough spells in this matchup that Maokai is constantly getting his passive off. Granted, he's not going to want to stick around a whole bunch, because basic attacks and Bami's Cinder are going to do some pretty good work. But yeah, Cho'Gath just now is faced with the decision, right? He's like, do I stack up my feast on minions? But what if a fight happens immediately? Cho'Gath, when he goes down, is not good at fighting repeatedly. Because he becomes too squishy.
Lucian Sivir in the bot lane. Yeah, I totally agree that Cho'Gath, as soon as he can't be a lane bully because he can't be up in the front just, chomping on people. It's going to fall off pretty quickly in these team fights. However, when these big exchanges start coming off, as Thresh diving in and Sejuani diving in, he is good at taking down tanks, and he will be able to get a lot more of those combos in there. A knock up in those team fights can be pretty brutal. I'm just waiting for them to try to take down this tower. They have so far not been able to touch this bot tower, and I think that they're going to be putting some more pressure on here right now.
Luz Forte actually being able to get a boomerang blade here.
Oh, that was an excellent hook there by the Thresh.
Oh no, AHGL is dead
out.
as hell. Oh man, he's super dead. Yeah, that was so it was a good flash play to get both of them, but the key issue that kind of shows that they were not in sync is twofold. Lucian had just dashed away, showing that he was not going to be able to follow up for damage. He ended up having to walk through a whole ton of things, and that's the moment he flashes. The other thing is, Dragon's up in 20 seconds, right? You know that. You're the team with all the Dragon control. You don't have to make this crazy aggressive play, right? You can just wait for that moment to come. And so now, Llama's, it's interesting because this aggression can mean that if the enemy team goes back to reset and lets them kind of come back to lane, if everyone there is recalling, I guess now they'll see that Dragon is up. They didn't have the timer on it before, but Cho'Gath just happened to be there when it was up. If they're all going back as they are right now and they just rush Dragon, they could get it before anyone gets back.
And Ibni is going back on top. Maokai is safely pushing that top lane. No tower to kind of stop him now, and he has so he can just join
looks like that might be what they're doing. Yururu is going to be down to possibly shut it down, but still, both teleports are available. Cinderhulk Skirmisher Saber finally finished for Ibne, which can make a pretty big difference. Ooh, hate to see that happen. Tosh missing the hook.
Here comes the teleport.
Teleport's going down.
Ibne's
Double distortions are already down.
Does catch Lucian on that. Cuts back. It looks like Thresh just goes down.
Crapile in the back taking a lot of damage. This Cho'Gath not super tanky, but is able to crush down onto LeBlanc regardless.
Oh, they cannot get any damage into him.
Oh god, and here comes the depth charge. Amazing Glacial Prison to get 4 of them, but the Sivir on the hunt is just going to take them out, and they just get stampeded over. That was...
This is how you want to see the team played, though. Is that you want to see the tanks up front kind of doing some little mitigation, some exchanging, and then you want Sivir just to pop her ulti and use those tanks to just kind of like steamroll over the squishier targets who have to kind of kite and fight from a distance.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly right. Like we're seeing the teams play out kind of the way that they're picked.
They were planning, yeah.
But it's more that these engagements don't have to exist, right? Like going in on that when you don't have your Maokai around or in a good position, right? Like you're engaging onto the tank. LeBlanc blew double distortion, right? She's using her highest damage combo onto this Nautilus. You don't know where anyone else is on the map, right? Like well, I mean, you know that they recalled, so you know that they're probably behind him.
And Simmers is around, but you haven't seen her yet. She hasn't showed face.
It's just they're getting really excited, and that excitement is leading them to make some very, very questionable decisions. And now what was only a 1K gold lead is now almost 5,000.
Yeah. It just
off the back
turned very, very quickly.
Right, and they just got too hypey. They were just like, oh no, I'm gonna go for these, constantly try to go for these big plays, because...
I don't know if you noticed how far up Lucian was in that fight, where he was at one point, 3-0, went to 3-1 very quickly. Now at 4-4 in these fights, although he's been getting the culling off, he hasn't been able to go anywhere. We're seeing Ibne just using his ulti and everything to back out here. Sivir's kind of following up. There are 3 top that could get closed off, but it's going to be a 4-on-3 if they can close this gap.
They're probably all dead. At least a couple people are going to die here.
Tower's still up. I don't know. They could just get back up.
Oh.
The pull, the Silent J into the tower.
I didn't say for which team.
Yeah. This is not a great position to be fighting in.
Luz Forte was taking some tower damage.
Oh.
Sivir coming in to finish that up. Now Ibne is going to be able to take the tower.
There's the tank exchange we're looking for. And it looks like Crapile's going down. Tower maybe taking down. Nope, Ibne lives.
Yeah, Ibne is a horse. The horse is amazing. Yeah. And this one starts to look like it is just becoming unraveled. If you were going to go for the Hecarim, you know, they started to do a good job in that 3v1 where they were all spreading out.
Yeah.
And then they made a pretty big mistake where they all grouped to one side and let him go through. Where as Maokai, you just cover that exit because the moment he goes, you can root to him. He was able to root. He was able to ult out of Maokai's range, so he couldn't actually get the twisted advance onto him. So you're in a situation where yes, your Lucian is strong, but now Sivir is equally strong, if not a little stronger, and you're going for Blade of the Ruined King as your second item. I'm just a little sad because I don't think Microsoft has played this game perfectly. I think similar to the last game, Broseph and Yaruru have been, those are the ones that are kind of like setting everyone else up, and everyone else is kind of knocking them down. But a lot of their decision making has not been on point. But it's the punish game from Amazon has not been on point, which has meant that fight after fight has just gone away from them here in what is probably the last game.
Even with the Ibni in the top lane, you know, he was sort of behind in the farm, not quite winning all the exchanges, but when he TP'd in, even though it was in the 100% optimal position, he caught Lucian in his ulti, which put Lucian out of position, and as soon as Lucian went down, those tanks, you know, they don't really have any reason to sort of back up because LeBlanc is going to do her combo no matter what, so beyond that, might as well just keep walking through the enemy team.
Yeah,
oh man.
Broseph just taking out LeBlanc, and this is just kind of what I'm saying. It's like LeBlanc doesn't need to try to fight this Cho'Gath. Lucian does go down. Sivir's not there yet, but Lucian's Hecarim. Hecarim does immediately get stunned, and now he's putting out the culling. This is not the worst fight considering how bad the game has been going for them stat-wise, but it looks like, yeah, they're going to collapse.
Well, they're going to finish them off right now. Sivir flashed over the wall to finish off Sejuani. Looks like the Culling was going straight into him. Crapile trying to hold down the tower. Looks like the Nautilus, although going for Lucian, last man left standing. He did get a good calling in there right into Sivir's face, but it was not enough damage, and it was a little bit too late into the fight because too many allies had been dropped. That LeBlanc, you are correct. She needs to really be careful around these trying to exchange with Cho'Gath, although you want to work him down. If every time you try to chunk at him, you lose half your health, might not be the best plan.
Yeah, well, I mean, there she just lost her life, right? But it's
just
like
died. Well, was chunking, now is death.
Part of the big reason that LeBlanc is actually still potent against tank teams is because of ethereal chains, right? Anyone that's played against LeBlanc knows that those chains, especially when you use both of them, like when you use her mimic, not only hold you down for such a long time, but are almost impossible to break for anyone without innate mobility. So a character like Cho'Gath, who doesn't have any, can still be dealt a lot of damage and locked up with chains, and your team can then follow up on them. But when you try to Rambo in with double distortion, right, like that's not what's going to get you the kill. And more often in this game has put LeBlanc in a really terrible position when she is one of the only threats on this team, right?
Yeah, she's doing, you know, you have Lucian who's doing some damage, but he has to kind of sit towards the back. He's going to have to kind of ball. So the only other person that you have who can kind of get up in there is LeBlanc, and she's not been able to be effective in these fights. In the fights where you want to see her just pop in and pop out, but she's just getting destroyed by Cho'Gath before the fight begins. And I'm seeing LeBlanc right now. She's using the double distortion to kind of clear out every single wave. But as you said, that if she could just be using max range poke and kind of continue that and just play really, really safe until a team fight's beginning, maybe she can actually be the person they need to take out Sivir. Because not that many people can reach Sivir either. I think LeBlanc's their best shot if they want to try to fight back. This is not a good position for Maokai to be in.
But yeah, Maokai not getting caught out. True damage is maybe going to numb on him. No, it was already down. But the
silence could not flash over that wall.
Yeah, the double skirmisher saber, meaning that there's always true damage available.
Yeah. And we're seeing them kind of set up for Baron. I don't know if they're going to try to do it. Looks like they have a pink out and double pinks. Yeah, they do.
Oh, so there we go. Oh, we see the chain. Oh, whoa.
Oh, Braum getting caught by the thresh hook. Calling's coming out. Here comes Hecarim trying to get up in there. Looks like Sejuani just flashing up the wall, going down. Maokai's is just coming back. Looks like LeBlanc gets dropped and Lucian. They did not have any vision over that wall. They just dropped a ward, and as soon as Braum got into the picture, got hooked by Thresh, unfortunately. Looks like the two people left, Yuri and Blaze Forte, are going to take down Baron here, and here comes Hecarim. They're definitely going to be able to take this down. This is looking pretty abysmal from this point.
Yeah,
it's only 26 minutes into the game. Two dragons.
This is a massive gold lead. I mean, the last game was close up until the very late stages, and then, you know, some questionable team fight positioning made it kind of impossible for them to come back. But this is, I'm sorry to say and be that guy, almost identical to the last year's finals. Yeah, it was. You had a really close game that showed some great
potential
decision making from both teams, but then, you know, Microsoft just pulls ahead, and then the second game, it was Yuru's Rammus rather than his Nautilus, but he just kind of went for the knockout, camping all the lanes, you know, really becoming a huge threat. Here, you know, Blues Forte doing a very good job, much better than he did on his Callista game, at being a very huge threat and the damage that his team needs him to be. But, you know, players like Broseph and Yuru just being impenetrable for Amazon Prime to get through.
If I remember correctly from last game, Silent J, his strategy was get caught in a really weird position.
Yeah.
And then when they try to kill you, your entire team's just sitting behind you to just kind of chop them down as you escape.
Yeah, that's still pretty easy to do with Braum.
So yeah, he's doing the same strategy again with Braum, where you just get caught and then destroy everybody.
Ibne,
there's 4 people top, which is cool, but who's bottom?
Yeah, Ibne decided that he was playing a little too well this game. He needed to tone it down some.
Yeah, he just needs to die.
LeBlanc misses the distortion
but gives Sivir a little bit more mana.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the thing is, she's already almost out of mana. You're facing him against Baron. This is nearly insurmountable, and I would really like to see if Amazon, or rather Microsoft, is going to be able to close out the game pretty cleanly, because they do have the Riot show match after this, right? And we do have some pretty good players that we're sending in against them, and so if they want to stand a chance, it's going to need to be
cleanly,
not just the correct decisions, which is I think what they've displayed more often than not, but the correct and cleanest executions.
And that's pretty much all we do at Riot, is just talk about why my strategy is better than your strategy in League of Legends. And so when you're playing up against the Rioters, they've kind of been waiting to figure out what your strategy is just to pick it apart. And if you don't have it executed perfectly, they're going to look for that opportunity.
Yeah, and coming back to this game, Dragon will be up in 2 minutes. And I will say, you know, them being able to get that shutdown on the Hecarim, it's not nothing, right? Like, they are doing a good job of kind of hanging out, seeing if they aren't going to be able to pick someone out. It's just an issue that you can only be picked out in this team if you present that opportunity, right? Because
Lucian is pretty much all your damage right now.
Yeah, like, Maokai still does a decent amount with his W onto that single target, but when it comes to the team fights, right, if they decide to stay grouped, there's almost no way they can lose, right?
Yeah. And I mean, that's the other issue with having a LeBlanc in mid as opposed to, you know, a lot of the other mid laners, is that she does need to get somewhat close in order to, like, get that in there.
Speaking of their
Lucian
main
just
damage,
getting silenced and eaten alive, and Sejuani right next to him. Maokai backing up to the tower. I don't think the tower is going to help you a lot in an all-tank team situation.
Ibne just running through.
Ibne is just not waiting for anything. Oh, and the Nautilus are going up. Very good dodges by Crap Pile. Unfortunately,
he almost made it
not
to the
enough space in
lantern.
the world for all 5 champions.
But Ibne's devastating charge or something, I'm not going to look it up. His E is what knocked him away from the lantern. Can you imagine Maokai with his outstretched hand? Oh, it is devastating charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it.
It's just, at this point, it's just fun to make sure you can get your spells off. And because of Distortion, yeah, it seems like we've seen this combo played out too many times where Cho'Gath just silences LeBlanc, knocks her up in the air, and then eats her. And then that's it for her. Here it goes.
Yeah. She's just tickling at this point. your big tank line is losing half their life within a rupture. That's not really what you want. LeBlanc is, oh man, just
going at it hard.
She was able to see the future. Maokai is now going in. He's getting pretty excited. Microsoft is low on a lot of their members, but Hecarim is able to kind of heal up doing his W.
Silent J's
Forte.
just anything. Wait. I
Oh
thought,
my lord.
Silent J may have gone down to Maokai's little
Stop
bomb
it,
there.
they're already dead.
Leave him be.
It's already over.
Leave him. He's just a boy. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I really like the way LeBlanc has just not given up hope and just, no matter what happens, just continually trying to get that poke in there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and they're all good players, right? Like,
absolutely.
That's a thing that I don't want to take away from them. It's just that how they have been able to adapt their play towards their goals and what they need to get done, that to me has been the biggest failing of this Amazon team so far in this series, right?
Yeah,
when
playing
you have
well individually.
Well, it's just like when you have a clear understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, that it's easy to understand how to punish or when to punish Microsoft when they're making a misstep, right? Like, oh, they have a guy split out here, or they just used all of their cooldowns. Let's just wait for this dragon instead of trying to go for something aggressive, right? Like right before these spawns. And so it's that inability to make those situations favorable for you is what I've just been, like identifying as something that they should work on, especially in the next AHGL or if they continue playing with each other, right? Is just being more focused on what your goals are.
And something that you mentioned earlier as well is that even though they, were able to pick up the 2 dragons, they had kind of a good strategy going forward, then, they had that confidence and stopped, considering things like dragon on waiting for this. Should we use these big spells right now when we're going to try to secure this objective in, 20 seconds? Planning ahead is kind of where the team started to fall apart, is that you need to plan out when you're using these big spells and make sure it's around an objective. As we saw Nautilus using his ulti mid on Sejuani about 20 seconds before Dragon Spawn. So we're seeing the second Baron come out now. 1 was not enough. This is one of those times where maybe you can get in there and take advantage of the situation, kind of a last hurrah. They are kind of bound up together, but I don't think it's going to work out. Nope. Baron does go down.
This is a very lambs to the slaughter type moment.
Right.
All it's going to take is Hecarim getting in there. LeBlanc fails her dash over the wall.
Culling is coming out. He's not doing any damage right now. Everyone's running away.
But now it's Crab Pile. They're wrestling the big tree here in the back lane. Shogath and Nautilus have already left. They're going to take him down.
It's so sad when you are watching all of your skill shots land perfectly. Everyone's doing everything they're supposed to. It's just not doing any damage against these giant tanks that have, 3 times your health. And just walking through your objectives. Yeah,
and this is just kind of how the game is right now.
And Severe.
He did it. He truly loved llamas in that moment. I think he
Shogath throwing out 1 rupture, which Lucian was not able to dash out of.
Yeah, LeBlanc seeing if she can't tango. Beast is up, and there it goes. Taking someone else down. Looks like Tosh is maybe going to fall here again in a sec. Silent J just getting him ready.
Gives the Nautilus ulti on LeBlanc.
Oh, Lord. Interrupts the knockup.
Bad auto attack.
Oh, boy.
Crab Pile is still back in here.
It's like, it looks like a visual bug. How much he wasn't taking damage.
There is no person underneath this pile of champions.
Yeah,
it's just a big glowing orb.
Yeah.
Shogath's too big.
Ibne chilling on the side. 8-32, a massive victory for Microsoft. And this is how they like.
So well.
Yeah, it started off very even, but I still just want to call out the 2 individual players. Everyone played well, everyone did well, but Ruru and Brosa feel like they are the backbone of this team that are always, they're kind of like, all right, kids, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's actually.
Brosa just constantly sending llamas back to the tower every 2 or 3 waves having to do that exchange really put him behind. And you see Yururu just taking advantage of that because Sejuani had to be mid kind of camping for so long. He's able to make plays top, bottom, and kind of really help turn these lanes around. As Lucian was starting to get ahead, as soon as he came to the bot lane and Sivir got 1 or 2 kills, things started going the wrong way fast. Do you think that early dive from Lucian being 3-0 onto Sivir had anything to do with that lane?
Yes, I think that was the point in which they lost the lane. So,
I think that was the defining point where things started.
I mean, honestly, I don't want to sound.
No, it's not that one moment. Obviously, there's many moments throughout a game.
Well,
where things
no, I mean, I think it very much was, at least for that lane. That was the moment that it was over. Well, it's more that Lucian, all he had to do was just walk up and Q through Sivir, and it would kill the Braum. Instead, flashing forward to get a kill that is not that useful, then to give away a bunch of gold to Sivir,
400 some gold
right?
to a Sivir.
But it's also not just the gold, right? It's the experience. It's all the gold in the lane. She then got ahead in that lane, right? She cleans up waves like it's no one's business.
She could now exchange with him on her own. Didn't need help.
You have to be, and I'm not making a statement about the players here, but when you are down in a best of 3, you have to set ego aside and actually understand. It's like, well, they won game 1. Like, these players, they might be better than me. They've clearly showed that they're able to win. And so giving them the advantages and kind of throwing your lead is something you can't do, as they now pile in here to the lane.
This is the damage exchange where you're seeing one blue side just getting disintegrated, and maybe a trickle of health missing from the red side.
Oh my god, the crit on Delusion in the fountain.
Cho'Gath flash silencing, going for another kill.
Yururu has gone deathless in this best of, as they take the win and win the AHGL 2 years in a row, I believe. Possibly even
excellent
more,
fights from both teams. For roughly infinity years, he's just been on top and not dying for this entire series. That's pretty impressive. There's a lot of deaths going on either side, but Yururu just being the one to not die either game, that's just kind of really a real testament to how good he is and his mechanics.
Yeah, so we are going to be taking another break here, but then getting back together quickly for the Riot show match after after these guys take a sec to kind of celebrate their victory. So we're going to take a quick break.
And congratulations. We're going to be obviously the show match, but the Microsoft team 2 years in a row. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we are back in the lobby. Champions Select has started. We have 5 riders here for the show match to take on the AHGL champions once again. We have MIA, former Complexity support, Nick Wu, former Complexity top lane. We have John Stein, also known as Riot Janook. We have Riot Jag, one of the designers, and we have Daydreamin', former Team Coast support player, all working in and around the various playtest teams and QA teams at Riot Games. Jack's banned by Ibni. Actually, interesting. They ban Hecarim. Echo gets banned, specifically because Abe asked in chat if Echo was available, so I think they got scared for that one.
Yeah, his burst is absolutely insane right now, so if he's going to be included in this match, I would definitely say ban him out. My brother's been playing him, and just, I don't really know how his ult works yet, but I keep getting destroyed by it repeatedly.
Yeah, I have the controversial opinion that I think Echo's bad.
Huh.
Yeah, I think
that is a controversial opinion.
I think that guy's damage is just not good. Like,
it's just not good.
I don't know. I mean, I would have loved to see it. I would have loved to see Abe or someone else play it and really kind of show me how it's done. But I play a lot of Assassins, and I've played a lot of them ever since the game came out, and I think he's actually not reliable enough. The Teemo lock, though, so I think I hope this is going to be Silent
Support
J.
Teemo?
So yeah, this is going to be a much less serious game. I mean, clearly it's for the bragging rights, which are more important sometimes than the actual cash prizes or other glory that you could get. Azir, Kalista, Hecarim bans. So they're basically taking away the things that looked like they were the biggest deal for Microsoft there. But the Teemo pick should show what it is that's going to be happening here.
It's zero fears what's going to be happening.
Yeah. Stein, John Stein, Janook here in the mid lane is very good at Xerath. It's kind of his like one trick pony, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick it up. He has been practicing a couple other champions. He's also very well known for his Lux, his Ziggs, things like that. But the Nick Wu Lee Sin, it looks like they may just be picking for themselves. This Cassiopeia could go to Abe, MIA. I'm sorry, it's gonna be hard for me to
you know everyone so well. It's hard to do the translation.
By their names, but this could go up to John Stein in the mid lane or for MIA in the top lane. But Nick Wu's Lee Sin is pretty legendary. He and his brother Clicky, the former Marn jungler, the relegation brothers from the 2013 split, are both very well known for their Lee Sin play. And Nick Wu actually internally in playtests that we use to competitively bounce the game is undefeated with Lee Sin. So I'm throwing up the stakes so that my boys can take it home. But yeah, so it's a pretty big deal. It looks like Renekton and Rengar are what's being hovered over here. Yururu is a big Rengar fan, and I'm sure he would love to try and murder the hell out of Lee Sin.
Ibni looks like he's setting up for top. I'm wondering if that's actually going to be the case.
Well, I mean, Ibni is going to go top. But
having the team, I'm wondering if it's still going to be exchanged to Silent J for support, or if Ibni is going to try to take him top. Having a Cassiopeia, that could go well. Trying to think of.
Oh my God, Jeevan is hovering over Vayne. This is. All right, I'm gonna explain something here within Riot Games. There's a term that I coined during our internal tournaments called jagging, and it comes from Riot Jag, Jeevan, and his usage of Vayne. So to jag is basically it's a more pure form of Vayne spotting. It's when you're AD carry, the fight is won and everything has gone well, and then you go way too aggressive and die like an idiot.
It's running in.
It's like, oh, we already got 2 kills. Neat. And he's like, no, I got this guy.
Let me get third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crisis averted.
So playing Jinx, he gets really, really excited.
Oh yeah. So he definitely gets excited, but Jinx is probably Jeevan's best champion. He won the Diamond Riot Rumble, I think it was last year, not this most recent year, basically on the back of Jinx. And this Maokai pickup means that's going to be what it is for Abe in the top lane. Cassiopeia is probably going to be mid. So now it falls to Miles Darius Horde, the young Daydreamin, to decide what he wants to play support with. He's a very good Thresh player, very good Bard player, very good Zillion player. He has a lot of things that he could pull out here. And I hope it's the Blitzcrank.
There it is. We see the Kog'Maw support. I mean, that's probably obviously going to be switched with like a Teemo, but
yeah.
I think that the top lane is going to be really, really interesting.
So it could be Cog mid or Varus mid. Both have become very popular recently. Definitely going to be top lane Nunu.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
This bot lane is one hook. That's it.
So, man, something about Microsoft. They changed the AD carry, but when we beat them last year, they picked Varus as well.
So maybe it's a redemption Varus. It's like no, this time it's going to work. I know it didn't do it last time, but this time it's going to be different.
Yeah, it's not going to be different at all.
It's not at all. But this is the theory going into it, much like, the last matchup we saw where maybe it'll be different, but then it wasn't.
Yeah. I have to say, looking at how the teams are spread out right now, if we actually analyze the compositions, AP Kog'Maw is pretty ridiculous. And Nunu does pretty well Blood Boil with Rengar, Kog'Maw, and Varus. We see a quick switch, actually, from the Cleanse at the last second to Ghost on Kog'Maw. Yeah. Cleanse is still pretty good, but I think he wants the Ghost to maybe get away from Nick Wu a little easier. But so yeah, Blood Boil is good with Varus. It's good with Rengar. It's decently okay with Kog'Maw and Teemo, but those aren't going to be your main targets, obviously. But Nunu is pretty much, he's one of like the dark gods of top lane that's just slumbering underneath.
There's just no way to just shove him out of lane.
Yeah,
it's just never gonna happen.
That said, Maokai is one of the more resilient to this style of harassment. I don't know that that Nunu's actually going to be able to get much done. It's going to be hard to kill him.
I don't think Maokai is going to get much done either. I don't think either of them are going to get anything done.
I know. Well, I guess that's what I mean is if you pick the Nunu so that you can shove someone out and so you can like deny them, but if you're against a Maokai, then you don't really need to do much, right?
TP in for drag fights.
Right. It's not like you're playing like Jace or some.
No, you're
like,
not trying to hard
damage.
Exchange.
You're not playing some damage-focused carry character that gets shut down by Nunu. So that pick can be a little questionable, especially because they had already seen what he was going to play, I believe. Kog'Maw.
They started off picking off the Teemo.
Kog'Maw can have a really good matchup. Like, Yururu and Broseph, they felt like the clear winners and really the best players when we were spectating them. And so
I'm not doubting that Kog'Maw is going to be great. I'm just saying that against Lee Sin, that's a very dangerous pick because he doesn't have much escape. And that's what you need.
Well, Stein is known for being like what I would call like stupidly aggressive. There's another thing. It's actually awesome that Jeevan and Stein are in the same game because there's another term that I coined in Rumble called Janooking. And Janooking
I've heard this. You mentioned this.
Janooking is when you win the game, but your KDA is terrible. Like 5-10 and 7 or something.
Like every Heimer game I've ever had.
Yeah, like basically it's like you do a lot of damage. You're doing work for your team, but you are playing so aggressive that you're dying so much. And and so it's really going to be on the team to really kind of follow up for that. Sometimes he just plays really good. Like his Cassiopeia is very good, but I know that he sometimes can get frustrated in the face of poke and play super aggressive in lane. So if Rengar is able to start converting those into ganks, we could see a potential snowball coming out of the Yururu Broseph combo.
I think you're right that mid lane is just going to be the most interesting early on because of how John Stein plays. Cassiopeia, level 2, we see all ins.
Yeah, this bot lane is going to be a slam dunk murder in favor of Jag and Jinx and Blitzcrank, I think. You have two characters that are both pretty weak to Blitz just running up and punching them.
Yeah, Teemo's a great poker, not a great brawler.
Yeah, I have to say. I mean, it'll be cool to see how it goes down. I mean, this is the rank 5 Teemo god here, and he is playing a Mega Squad Teemo. So
I love that skin. My girlfriend thinks that it's a little scary. And I said, that is so cute that you would call Teemo scary. I'm going to tell everybody.
Well, I mean, but I don't know, man.
It's a pretty intimidating skin.
That skin is frightening. Like, not to other people, but like to you. Like when you play it, you're like, oh God, this is dark. We're going to a dark place now.
It turns from like lasers and little puffy shots to like bullets and grenades.
But it's just like the things that
he's so tiny.
But like he's insane.
He's so tiny, insane. It's like the scary movies you see where it's like the little girl, but she's the ultimate villain. And that's so much scarier than if it was a giant scary creature. It's the tiny little evil things that are the most intimidating.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But maybe some gimmicks in the beginning with Teemo. Teemo allows for a lot of like off spying where he's just like in the bush and everyone's waiting for this giant gank. Turns out he's been there for, a couple minutes.
All right. So tell me, what time is it on the spectator view right now?
15 seconds.
Okay, good. Because it was it had a very weird bug where I just saw emptiness for a very long time. And then it started to fill up and I was like, well.
Oh. Guess there's no champions.
Yeah. Oh, well.
All right, so we're seeing the teams come out. Looks like the Riot team is all very close together, going straight to that blue, but might be heading for Tribush. Could they? Oh, looks like they might try to do the race. The race always goes, if you can reach this bush in time for the enemy team, before like the enemy team can get there, if they had a slow start or nobody rushes that, often ends in a kill. But looks like there was warded, and they are none the wiser because they didn't see it get dropped.
Oh, well, now they know. Varus fires an arrow into the fog of war, hitting 4 of them.
Guess what?
So they're very aware. I mean, when you have Blitzcrank, you're going to want to go aggressive and try to pull people here at level 1.
Yeah. It looks like the Microsoft team did the right thing of get to that bush and get a ward in it immediately. Varus did not want to mess around with them even sticking around in the jungle. So just, hey, we do know you're there. Back up.
The banter in the chat starts coming out saying, "Hey, just so you know, League of Legends does run on Windows," and it's they're saying that they might quote let Riot win if they can keep killing Jag, which I would take that deal personally. Yeah. Killing Jeevan is probably the most fun thing you can do.
We can take that joy away from you. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'll die enough even without
not to worry.
We'll see. I mean, I have to say I was expecting a little bit more silliness out of the Riot team, but you know.
But seeing Microsoft play this, I mean, do you want to be risky? It's a team that you want to respect a little. They did just win, against Amazon pretty handily in that last matchup.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, I mean,
yes, but the people now.
I'm just saying, some of these players are some of the best players I've ever seen in my life, and so like seeing the Daydream and Blitzcrank and the Nick Wu Lee Sin, like I'm excited about that. But I'm like, Maokai, come on, Abe, come on, Abe.
Oh,
I mean, it was probably just in response to the Nunu. I think he was just like, okay, we gotta lame it out. All right. Some attacks already going on into the bot lane.
Level 2 is coming out.
Pretty much everywhere. Oh, wow. Even in the top lane here.
Nunu's getting a little low.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Hit too. This is where Broseph wants to be.
Emo getting picked.
And oh, man. And the Ignite goes out. Use the flash. Oh, Jinx getting excited. Dodging. Actually, not dodging that, but popping the heal just in time to get back.
First blood for Blitzcrank. That's what you don't want to see. Abe ended up actually getting the level 2 start. He started Wolves, I believe, and teleported into lane, so that's how he's kind of been bullying this Nunu. Actually, now that I mention it, I'm surprised we didn't see that strategy come out in the actual games themselves, because it is very, very popular in top lane, especially if you're on someone with Smite like Ekram.
A little earlier.
Yeah, just to take on something, especially if you have the Smite, right, and just kind of ensure that you are stronger than your opponent.
I will hit level 6 before you do for sure, so I'm gonna.
Well, I mean, it's like I come into lane level 2, right? Like you're not even 2. I can just start beating you up with abilities and just my basic attacks. My stats are just better than yours.
Yeah, but at the same time, with the Blitzcrank invade, maybe they just didn't get enough time to set up. It's completely possible.
No. I'm saying they did do it this game. I'm saying they didn't do it the last game.
Oh, right. Yeah. We saw them invade on the previous game too, though, if I remember correctly. But I think it was Microsoft was invading on Amazon.
We'll see. Nick Wu here visiting the top lane.
Right in Maokai. Oh, nice.
Yeah, gets the flash immediately. Pretty good combo there, using the safeguard as Maokai goes in to make sure that he can get it done. Yeah, it's interesting though. Maokai still, like, he'll have a little bit of trouble in the very, very early stages of the lane, but typically once he's gotten Catalyst, the enemy has to cast enough spells to deal damage to him. Oh god, Stein is going in on this mid lane. Just zoning the Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw is one of those characters where it can be so easy to zone him out, and then later in the game it's so hard to get by him. But if you ever do, he truly dies. Oh, Rengar flashing. Stein going for his flash as well. So that's typically one of, I think, a good play to make. It looks like Daydream going in here in the bottom lane. Tries to go for the fake out, makes him think he's going for someone else, but ends up trying to grab the Teemo instead. Goes wide, hits the field goal.
Rengar is chilling in his jungle. I think he does see that Lee's coming in.
Yeah.
Both teams have been doing a pretty good job of using these minions as like kind of little bodyguards for him. I saw in the top lane when Lee Sin tried coming in, Nunu left one minion left alive so he wouldn't get hit by that sonic boom. It was really, really good job of this. Maokai able to sustain all the way back up to full health, not having any mana and being very, very low. So that must have been just enough help from that Lee Sin.
Yeah, now it looks like Nick Wu is coming into the bottom lane. Looks like they're either going to be going for a hook or just to kind of push things in here a little bit. MIA waiting for his teleport before he can go back and really buy items, but still not letting up on the aggression. If you just go in and start basic attacking Nunu like he's doing right now, it provokes a response, which means that he can use those spells, which allows you to sustain almost indefinitely.
Yeah. It's really, really smart play right here. And then also pushing this Nunu into the tower constantly has got to be hurting his CS. We do have some, pro CSers here, but it's still a difficult position to be in when you don't have like a lot of damage or AoE clears like Nunu does. Farming under the tower is probably not optimal.
Yeah. Let's see. Really
36 to 40.
Where the next bit of action is going to happen. Nick Wu starting to head into the bottom lane.
He did just kill Scuttle in preparation. Kind of warned them that he's going to be trying to set up.
Well, I mean, they didn't see the Scuttle, right?
Yeah, no, I'm saying that even though Microsoft did not see the Scuttle, Nick Wu did let the bottom lane know that he's been prepping to come down there. And the flash knock up on the Varus, very good job. He does shoot through and flashback. Heal's not going to be enough for him. Got ignited, and the Blitzcrank grab just missing Silent J.
This is the hook here. Yeah, but Miles daydreaming, taking both kills. That's my boy. It says
that's how he supports. This is community gold and community kills. Anybody can take them. I was told that by many of my supports before, that it's community kills.
Oh yeah. I mean, I honestly speaking, I actually prefer my support to get some kills.
So they're tanky.
Well, I mean, just like they make so much happen in the actual lane. As long as I'm getting farm, I feel pretty good. Especially that first blood sometimes lets you get your sightstone before the other guy, or especially back in the day when you could buy multiple pinks and they would stealth as well.
And just
you had to like
permanent vision.
Yeah, it's just like, oh cool, my support gets first blood. We're gonna come back with 2 pink wards, right? Yeah. And now you're done.
We're safe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So Nick Wu just hitting 6.
Taking blue from John Stein here. Very Nick Wu move. I wouldn't call him a selfish player, but he is a Lee Sin player. Yeah. He's definitely running around the map trying to make stuff happen the best that he can. And honestly, Stein having the tier, having the mana refund that exists on Cassiopeia's Twin Fang.
He's just building those poison stacks right now.
Yeah, like he doesn't actually need the blue buff. Yeah. Now, when Kog'Maw gets his, that could be an opportunity for something to happen. I personally, with the flashes being down, would like to see this fight go mid, but it looks like Nick Wu's hanging around. He might smell it out, or just expect that that's probably something that's going to happen next.
Maokai's being so aggressive in this top lane. Looks like Nunu is ulting to sort of clear the wave and get Maokai to back off, but Maokai was taking 2 tower exchanges just to keep the harassment in on this Nunu.
Yeah,
and going heavy in his favor.
And now Yururu has actually come.
Looks like Jinx got caught on the bot lane, just flashes out. And Blitzcrank, who's mid, pulls Cog off the tower. He's poisoned, but not quite enough to take a
Stein does not get in range enough to get the ignite off. And in both of these situations, like I think Yururu is just kind of walking around. He's going in between things, and now
Nick Wu up top lane. Oh, and Rengar comes out of the woodwork. Nick Wu's trying to get back, not quite. Oh, takes down Nunu. That was an excellent job on kicking him out of the tower range. He's gonna try to fight Rengar. That does not go well, and it looks like Cassiopeia was able to get the kill on Kog'Maw mid. Blitzcrank just doing a heavy tower dive and not getting any room to breathe. But now Jinx is trying to defend the bot lane tower solo, and it looks like Teemo and Varus are taking that advantage. Oh. Oh no, this could be a bad situation. Giving double buffs to the Rengar. Although Blitzcrank is a good job on pulling off that kill, you do not want to 1v1 a Rengar. He's got too much sustain.
Yeah, that was Daydreamin trying to help his fallen brothers.
Yeah. That insta heal on Rengar is really hard to calculate for, because even if he has 50 hit points, that could turn to 350 instantly. And now you've just
if he uses the heal. But he had double buffs. He had a lot of strength at that point in time, and he had ignites. He was like, well,
could have gone either way.
But this is the kind of bloody game that I think they're trying to see. Maokai instantly stopping that one, not really going to take a whole ton of damage, and just beating the hell out of Ipne right now.
He was
Just
tower
following-
diving him earlier. This is getting even more dangerous. Oh, there goes the slow. He might be trying to go for the kill here.
Yeah,
Nope,
he's
not
not
quite.
going to be able to take it out, but I mean, certainly very close. Definitely making a dominant performance, showing that now that he has Flask and Catalyst, he's just going to stay in this lane about as long as he wants. Ururu, though,
Ooh, Rengar going in.
oh, this could be really dangerous. The
Oh, and
rocket.
the Jinx ulti. Excellently timed. Also, another dangerous thing is Maokai top lane has his teleport up still, and Nunu just using his and losing that exchange was not going to be able to help out with the dragon fight.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming from Ururu, and he's actually the highest level in the game, or tied for it as well. Jumped onto the level 6 Blitzcrank, was going to do a whole ton of damage, but Jag picking that one up. Oh, Nicky.
Oh man, Nick.
Oh!
Oh, that Varus ulti landing right in
Oh,
there, and then
my
stealing
God.
it with the Q there. Awesome arrow. Looks like
Oh,
Blue
my
Storm's coming in
lord.
and just capitalizing on this situation.
Here comes the Maokai teleport, but everyone is kind of being led away right now. Cassiopeia doing quite a bit of damage, hoping that they get trapped in there right now. It looks like Miles may be able to get away. It looks like Silent J, Captain Timo is on
and
duty.
there it is, Silent J
Takes him out. Jag tries to pop a cork on them.
from Stein. Very low health, just getting blown up. Flashes out in
Oh,
time.
but will the Timo ult get him?
Sorry.
5-5 now. We have an even game.
Wow.
The chains of corruption.
Wait. The get him low with the first Q, and then change the corruption to have Dragon kill him, followed by the Q steal.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Oh, and then there we go. In true John Stein fashion.
Stein, no health needed. He's gonna ult Rengar mid-air was the strategy. Turns out maybe it was a lag spike. Did not get it off though. Just died.
Yeah, so we have and now a tower getting taken. This gold lead has
Is turning.
evaporated. Well, we had a gold lead and now it's gone. So let's see, Daydreamin' looking like he's gonna try to make something happen here. Grabs him.
Does pick his forte. Jinx able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, so
Jinx using that Jag using that ultimate, picking up the double buffs. This could be a sway that Jag needs because now he's 2-0, has his BF sword. The farm train is going to start. It could turn dangerous really quick.
yeah, I would say it's really going to come between Rengar and Kog'Maw being able to possibly shut down that Jinx, because Jag does not often throw leads on a character like Jinx when he has them. He can go aggressive and do some dumb things. But
Ibne trying to sustain in lane. He's not going to be able to heal himself up in time. Looks like Rengar's just going to back out. He is warding, but it's kind of hard to ward against the Lee Sin.
Ibne just kind of dying right there. Just getting wrecked by the combined CC and damage from Maokai, putting him way behind his tower, making it very, very difficult for him to do.
If Rengar could have made it in time, he was headed up to top, getting a little bit close, just outside of ulti range. But you know, Nunu had already used his consume, and Maokai and Lee Sin being on there, he just was not able to make any progress towards his tower.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, it looks like with that slow CC combo and the turret gone now, they're gonna have to get a lot more aggressive about their vision. And and the Blitzcrank pull going off on Timo, followed by Chompers, and it looks like the zap charge hits. Silence getting back, one rocket. Oh, misses it. Thought that would be a kill. Good job by Timo. Silent J has been dodging skill shots both games to save his life. Very, very good reactions.
Jag flashes for the basic attack rocket, but then just messes up right there on using the Super Mega Death Rocket.
I don't know if the Super Mega Death Rocket was the right choice because it was one auto attack, and you
but he had flashed onto the Timo mushroom.
right. So you're gonna
So
be out.
he was too slow. He couldn't get into range. So it was
Tough
his only
call.
option. Yeah.
Tough call. Yeah. Really good reaction by Silent J either way. Gets pulled across, misses the chompers, gets down that lane and misses, and just dodges the Mega Death Rocket, and Jinx burned her flash, which is really good for your team when you want to try to take out their AD carry. Now would be a great time to get that fight in.
Yeah, Stein grabbing himself a lot of farm, but there it is. He's in a side lane.
Oh,
Misses
just
the
missing the
ultimate.
ultimate. It's mistakes like that just, if you get it, cool, maybe you can save yourself and get a kill, but if you miss one skill shot like that, that's the end of your life.
Yeah.
And Rengar, someone who can come from any angle, you have to guess and react within a split second to live. And
see.
Blues
So now it looks
Forte
like-
is nailing these arrows.
Yeah,
They're
he
not
is-
doing bad on this poke game.
Yeah, and that's really kind of the uh-oh. Maokai walking into a whole
He
ton of
wants
people,
it.
but he thinks
Oh,
he's
Lee's
taking up
landing the kick.
flashes in with the whole team. Nick Wu exhausted when he goes for it, and it looks like
Oh,
he's
no,
just
he
gonna
missed
die
that
under tower.
It was a rough
Just
situation.
a 1-for-1 trade. Nick getting
Blues Forte
bodied right now.
Got that ulti
Oh.
in.
They mistimed their abilities. If they had waited for MIA to land the root, the hook would have been free. But instead, they did not. John Stein finally back into the game.
Getting hits
getting-
by that team mushroom.
Yeah, the support Teemo, they're not ready for it.
Yeah, that's not a bad job. Actually, it was really interesting seeing that Nick Wu land that kick, and Blues Forte immediately responded with his ulti, so he couldn't actually follow up that kick until Blues Forte, looks like Broseph made it back to the tower, and by the time Nick Wu was able to kick him out, got exhausted and netted. It was just a really unfortunate play at the end there, and it looks like Microsoft did a great job of responding.
Yeah, poke has to be their game, right? Like, they have to try to not get hard engaged on by the Maokai and the Blitzcrank.
Using your Varus and using your Kog'Maw, this is actually a great job for them. They can keep using Teemo, setting up mushrooms around the lane, and then using your poke team to kind of advance slowly forward. And if they try to exchange too hard, hopefully you make it back to the mushrooms in time for the exchange. Oh, it looks like Maokai comes in straight on to Silent U, who gets pulled back into the tower and
Into the
rocketed.
death rocket.
Unbelievable play.
Yururu might go for this dive,
He wants
though.
it.
Oh
Lands
my
the net
God.
onto Lee Sin. Lee Sin goes down. Kog'Maw picking up that double kill. You were not kidding about that damage. Maokai goes down right next to him.
Gets another net, and it looks like Jag
Oh!
dead as well.
Yeah, he is landing these nets back to back. Oh, it looks like Blitzcrank's pulling Nunu into the tower, but he's getting to the point in the game. He's tanking up. John Stein gets the ulti, takes him down, might take down, get a double kill here. Picks up 2 kills. A lot of gold for John Stein, but goes down in the process. That was quite the exchange there. Seeing 4 teammates left for Riot, and Microsoft able to get that tower. Kog'Maw, as you kind of talked about earlier, if he can position well and just start dropping down those ooze lines, he's destroying the enemy team. And Rengar was picking up most of those kills. Even though he's a melee champion, I think we're going to see him start to blow up Jinx and Cassiopeia on a repeated basis. They're going to have to get together now.
Yeah, and finally here with Ravenous Hydra being completed, his damage is pretty out of control.
Even for a team fight, he's going to be doing a lot of area effect damage. It's going to be really important that they lock him down as soon as he pops out of that
Now,
ultimate.
Varus is a little low on mana. That said, they did steal the first dragon, so contesting this one is not the most important. It would be good to be able to get 2, but it could
You
be
already
a
have one
mistake.
dragon in.
Yeah, trying to be too aggressive here when the situations are not in your favor could be a mistake that could let Riot back into control of this game.
And Nick was a little low, and Rengar's kind of set up. It looks like Varus is not in position. I don't think they're going to be able to get dragon here. They should really just let this go. And once the objective is gone, you know, there's no real reason to point into jumping into all 5 of them. Might as well get positions where your mushrooms are and start clearing out again, as you were doing before with poke. Yeah, I think that they're doing a really great job. What do you think the next team fight that a Riot's going to be looking for? Because they're trying to get these pick situations, but it seems like they're having a hard time reaching anyone at Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the situations that they keep going for have not been very favorable. You see Nick is trying to go for the insect plays, which, I mean, he has the skill to be able to pull off, but no one else is able to get in there.
That Varus damage is a bit more than expected. Varus is just blowing people.
Oh,
Oh,
but
it gets
Jack-
pulled in and then gets off an arrow mid-air as he gets yanked in. Really good job on Blues Forte.
Yeah, it's Jag getting the kill, or Nick pulling him into Jag that kills him. Nick Wu getting destroyed by Yururu's damage, and when you're in the jungle, there's nowhere for you to run. John Stein gonna get absolutely slaughtered. Come on.
Kog'Maw picked that up, trying to back up, but it looks like you have to be really careful on those spots because they are still following you. They don't care that you want to leave.
I'm telling you, man. They've never seen the Teemo support. They're tilted. They're tilted.
What do we do? How do we advance on a Teemo?
How to do it.
Looks like we got...
Hey, Michael, we can hear you, bruh.
Yes, we can, Michael.
Get wrecked. Yeah. All right. The
Kog'Maw is gonna solo hold this down now. That's
oh. Oh boy.
Oh, the Teemo mushroom.
Oh,
okay.
he's not gonna have
next
to
Teemo
solo
mushroom.
hold down
It could
anything.
be. These Teemo mushrooms are gonna be the death of this team.
Oh,
all right, pull Nunu straight into the team.
That's the person that you want to pull.
Ibney.
Maokai finally in there. Rocket goes out. But they end up
getting in the back.
away.
Oh, he's getting a little too deep here.
The Lee Sin ultimate, the Dragon's Rage was almost available, and that's why he ended up going for it. Stein picking up an easy one right there.
John Stein picking it up on Varus, who's their, one of the main sources of damage right now. Varus is still poking the team pretty deadly. Having him out could help.
Yeah, but it's Broseph and Yururu that are the people. Yururu ult is up, and if he were to jump into the middle of this team right now, like he's about to do.
Oh, here it comes. Oh, yeah. Here's a double. Let's see here. We can go for the triple. All right. Okay, yeah. So that's 4 people. Double kill for Teemo. Do not disregard these mushrooms. They are making plays happen right here. So the weird thing is, it seems like Riot's getting all these great, positioning, and they're getting thrown off by the Teemo mushrooms, and then Microsoft's just chasing them down, knowing they're about to hit another mushroom. Oh, and Nick Wu going for the Baron steal.
The hero steal.
Uh-oh. They're slowing down. He's gonna have his Sonic Boom back up. Here goes for the execute. Oh, and just misses it.
Doesn't take it.
Just short. It's hard to beat a Nunu for execute.
Hard to steal from Nunu, yeah. I mean, he did do a pretty good job. He used the Q before 1,000, right?
Yes.
Like knowing that with Consume at this rank, like how much damage it would do, almost getting it there. Blue's Forte getting caught out though. So Cassiopeia is strong and Jinx is strong. These people are very good.
People you would like to be strong.
They're finally gonna take this tower.
I do gotta say that I think Nick Wu needs to tone it down just a smidge, because in the last couple of fights he's at 7 deaths now. He's been trying to get back to that Kog'Maw, but he keeps dying before being able to finish off that kick. He might have to wait a split second longer before kind of launching himself in there, as it seems like it's a guillotine situation right now. And if he can just wait one more split second, it would allow Jinx to kind of get excited and get some damage. Oh, there goes that Rengar.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you, though. Watching Even get brutally murdered by Rengar.
Isn't it amazing?
Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm happy about this outcome. Like, I don't want my boys to lose, but they brought this upon themselves.
We talked about how it could be dangerous, Rengar picking up a whole bunch of kills, and seeing him just, it didn't matter. You didn't even enter your jump yet.
Stein just went up to go steal the blue buff and die like an idiot.
Well,
what is that about?
He was not ulti the Varus, but he only
No,
ulti
he was going for Kog'Maw. He didn't even see Varus there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, bruh, come on, man. You saw everyone else in there. Yeah, that's just like, that's the most Stein thing. It's like, I need to get my blue. How am I gonna win the game if I don't get my blue?
If I'm not in optimal conditions, there's no way to play.
I mean, that's your solo queue mid laner right there.
Yeah,
Like,
I need blue. I also need full protection, and if you could just basically camp me until level 11, that'd be great.
Yeah. I need all of them to survive.
I need all of those things.
Yeah. See the tier on Blitzcrank slowly stacking up. Not really sure how much use it's going to be. It seems, Riot is really going to need to figure out if they can backflip out of this hole they've dug themselves into.
Sure, they're getting behind, right? And I think but having Blitz, I mean, having Blitzcrank would have been one of those things where set him up, get John Stein into good position, get a pick, and stop trying to chase down these kills. They have not been panning out.
Well, so the issue is like what you're saying is right. Like, it's like, oh, let's rally, let's hunger down, see if we can't get this happening. But it's the combination. Like I've been saying from the beginning, I don't mean to be like like a broken record, but Rengar and Kog'Maw being fed is the worst possible situation because Rengar means that Jag can never participate in these fights without heavy resource allocation to making sure that Rengar dies immediately. Oh, goes.
Cassiopeia going off, if he can get this Kog'Maw, there goes the 500 gold shutdown. Oh, here comes the Rengar.
There's Yururu. They need to be able to take him down.
Kill this Rengar.
He gets hit with Gale's Crucible.
Death Rocket not finishing it. Jag gets the kill, gets excited, get back.
The Nunu was too fat.
Oh, the heal.
Blinding dart.
Pulls him back. Still alive. Get that auto attack.
Oh my god, and
just missing. The Blues Forte. Nunu's sustain is getting... cannot bring him down. He's getting low. Maokai is not going to be able to make it out of this one. And Blues Forte picking up that kill. Really good job on Jag dodging that Blues Forte arrow, but we'll see if they can actually hold the tower. This could be an inhibitor. No, it looks like they're going to back off.
Yeah, they are going to back off. Jag not really being able to assemble the items.
They're taking the top tower. This could be a dangerous play here. There's
Kog'Maw is not here. Kog'Maw and Rengar are not here. This could be way too
your powerful Teemo. Varus is not the fastest champion, getting picked out. Jinx picking
Miles
up that
taking
kill.
that kill as well. The Blitzcrank kill that he needed to take.
Yeah.
But hell, I mean, he got the flash grab off, which is exactly what they wanted.
Yep, that was good. And we kind of figured that, Teemo didn't have any mana to fight back. Varus is not a really escapable champion. He kind of needs people with him to escort him out. So when a Blitzcrank's pulling him down, kind of dead if you're going to stay.
Yeah, and I mean, they were in a situation where pretty much anyone who got grabbed was going to die. So
luckily it was Cog for Riot on this situation.
Yeah, everyone just kind of decided to run for the hills. Varus ended up getting popped there. 5 and 7 still. This is why we've seen a lot of Varus mid being played in Europe and in LCK, right? The amount of damage he's able to do, yes, he may not put out the same amount of sustained damage as an 80 carry just due to how unsafe he can be, but when you keep the fight at long range, he is able to put down so much damage before that it evens out. And sometimes, especially with a Kog'Maw, will work out in your favor.
Yeah, I think that, alright, oh wow, that Kog'Maw is just blowing up the Riot team right now. They're going to have to, oh no.
Oh, here comes Yururu. They're all dead.
Oh yeah, there goes everyone. Good job on Stein catching that. Oh, he's just flying through the air, taking people out as he goes. Yuru, not going to slow down.
You can tell their mental is broken. Blitzcrank just stops moving.
It was things were going so well and just got caught in this crossfire where Kog'Maw drops your team to half health and Yuru just was waiting for that moment so he could blow 3 people up. And Stein did catch Rengar mid-air, which was really, really good job, but Rengar instantly just jumped onto Jinx and Jinx got destroyed. There goes your inhibitor.
Oh Lord. Yeah, this one's looking like game, I gotta say. I was feeling so hard for my Riot boys, but the way they have been playing this so far, not really been working out.
It's kind of like last game. It started off strong, things were looking really good, and then something happened in a team fight where the scales just tilted the other way and have not been able to kind of like
trust me,
that.
a lot more than the scales tilted this game. Let me tell
Some
you.
people may have tilted along the way.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, it's a clever combination, and I can tell you, I am fairly certain that this isn't like a comp that they decided to do, right? But the way that it has worked out, that they have selected their champions is like Rengar and Nunu could be almost any character, and let's see if he's able to get the Baron steal, or if they're able to get anything here. This could be a moment.
Sonic. Oh, he's going in. He's waiting for the damage.
All right, Blues Forte is down. Oh no.
Here goes Nick Wu.
That was
picked up.
no,
And
everyone
Rengar
else
is flying through the ranks.
All of my friends are dead.
Oh goodness. Seeing the power of Rengar now. 17 kills. Really good job on picking up that Mercurial Scimitar as soon as he knew he wanted to repeatedly blow up John Stein over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, he's been able to cleanse off just about everything.
Yeah.
As it happens to him.
So come in, blow up one person, cleanse the John Stein ulti, blow up John Stein, move straight on to make sure that Jag dies, and there's the team from there.
Yeah, Baron minions running into the base. Not much that they can do at this stage.
That was a really good turn of events there. I think it was once Rengar started just one-shotting people. The problem is that you can't walk off and farm anymore. It just takes away that ability.
But no, like what I was saying is the combination of their champions work in such a way that if you hit a Teemo Mushroom, it's going to lead into a Living Artillery and a Piercing Arrow from Varus that was so much damage that Rengar can now then safely jump into the team, right? Nunu has kind of been ineffective this game. He hasn't really done much. He's just kind of been hobbling around.
Champion who's tanky.
Right, yeah, he's just been hobbling around, but getting everyone low and letting Yururu say, "Oh, I can go really aggressive." Oh, looks like Brosov is probably caught out. His flash is up.
Oh, there goes the zap, and followed up by a kick, and Brosov goes down. Oh, Rengar coming in, right John Stein on the bottom, not caring about the tower even a little bit. Now just clearing out the wave.
The tower does help defend sometimes against people, but Miles could only watch in horror as this Rengar murdered all of his
right
buddies.
through and out the other side.
I
think you're right that you don't see the Teemo advantage so much in lane, but as soon as he starts lining up the sides of the map and that Yuru is so far ahead, they're just waiting for the first mushroom to go off, and then it's Kog'Maw, Varus, followed by Rengar melting people. So you just sit, wait. Oh, they're playing a little dangerous now. There's two people now, kind of getting caught out. The Teemo Mushrooms are going off, but 32 minutes into the game.
This is more the state of the game where, like, the last, I want to say, 5 kills that Jag has been a part of have not gone over to him, and that's the big mistake, right? Like, this is where you want to use your Super Mega Death Rocket or your Zaps and have them actually convert to these last hits. Because now he just finished his Phantom Dancer at 33 minutes into the game, right? Jinx is a hyper carry in every sense of the word. Her damage is crazy, but
she's also dying instantly to a Rengar.
Yeah. If she's not able to get there, then it's not much is going to happen. Captain Teemo's up 2 and down the line right now as everyone tries to clear out the jungle.
That's also that situation you run into in the bot lane. Kind of we talked about that. If your support gets the kill, oh man, there is no defending on that situation. Rengar just going straight through. John Stein's going to probably pick him up here, so it could be a 1-to-1. Nunu getting in the middle of all 4. Ibne is going to try to back out here.
Yeah, and so this is one thing. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But one thing about Rengar is you can pretty easily get to state of the game. Stein messing around with the Nunu right now. Looks like he might die. Ooh, turns around.
That was really good for the Riot team.
Turns around to kill him and then gets killed by the piercing arrow. Ibne just running around, doing nothing.
Kog'Maw is now just bombing people repeatedly. I think that adding that Luden Zeko to the Kog'Maw made him insurmountably more useful.
The ability to apply. Yeah, I mean the purpose of Luden Zeko was really for pokey dudes like Xerath and Kog'Maw to be able to apply from long range, and I mean you're seeing the effect of it right here.
It is having twice as many kills now. It's funny how you turn into those situations where things are in your favor as far as like as long as you're like even somewhat because you can get a Blitzcrank pull or something. But the funny thing about this situation is even getting a pull or a pick on somebody is not going to guarantee you a win in the team fight by any means. Just because there's so many mushrooms, there's so much pick potential. If Rengar gets on a streak, he's going to kill everybody. If you can kill Rengar early enough, you've taken away their assassin, and now it's in your favor. So I don't know if the game is necessarily over. It's just looking very bad for Riot right now. 35 minutes in, if you can get Jinx towards her endgame items, one bad team fight could cost you the game.
Oh, a flash out on the mid lane. Let's see if he's able to make it. Varus, Chain of Corruption, makes it impossible. And
Rengar coming in. Oh, and looks like
he may not even go down here. Double kill, but that's 3 people dead as Miles tries to run for his life, but the trips over a mushroom.
Had her ulti. Stein was waiting for this Rengar, but was not able to click the R button before all of the health in the pool
Well,
disappeared.
but like, even if he had it, it's what's been happening the whole time. Even if he
cleanses
had
it and just walks right through.
Yeah. Like, what he needs is Zhonya's.
Zhonya's.
And you see him trying to go for it, but it's way too late.
36 minutes, yeah. It would have to have been like the third item or something.
Ooh, flashes out of the Super Mega Death Rocket. Doubles
See
Riot
Microsoft.
kills, 20,000 gold advantage.
Not
Press.
bad at all.
Stein misses
Microsoft did
everything.
so well today. Great job.
Yeah. Well, that was not the game I wanted to see, but still a pretty hilarious
support,
stuff.
we
The
saw
team of
its
support
power.
was awesome. Yururu's Rengar play was awesome. I'm
Yeah.
always happy to see John Stein and Jack get killed mercilessly.
The best is seeing them at the office and just talking to them, and you ask them those offensive questions like, "Why didn't you go Zhonya's when you knew you were dying?"
Oh, I mean, I'm literally typing that to them right now.
Just
that's not
in
even
chat. I gotta sign you an email telling you about all the things you did wrong. This is just how nice we are to our fellow employees. Is we want to encourage them to better themselves all week, and we do that by telling them all the things they do wrong.
How bad they are. Well, anyways, guys, thank you for spending time with us and listening to us poorly commentate the video games that you saw here today. Congratulations to Microsoft going 3-0 on the day, taking the set and winning back their cup from the Riot team.
Excellent showmanship.
Definitely a good showing from them. Shoutouts to Broseph. Shoutouts to Yururu. Shoutouts to Ibne's awful Rumble ults. I will never forget that.
And thank you to the AHGL for kind of throwing this all together. We really do appreciate all the work they put into this tournament, throughout the year, and kind of keeping all the teams on track. Really appreciate their work.
All right. Well, that looks like it is going to be it for us. We're probably going to cut to some lame graphic the Michael Pinto's put up. So until next time, goodbye forever.
And thanks for having us.